Okay, welcome back to D&D. So, last time, you had managed to make your way from the crypt to the town, where Otto was able to get the age reversal reversed. From there, you were able to go further. You found a small town located on an island. Made your way across. Realized you wouldn't be able to get a boat as the river had frozen by this point. Walking across the actual river itself, your spiritual horse Reggie had fallen through, almost taking your prisoner with him, but and actually almost losing Graham in the that exchange too. But with a little bit of help from Kaido, you were able to get back up, get onto the island itself. From there, you met a member of the Order of the Yard who is responsible for executing somebody who killed a tax collector. Speaking to him, though, you realize that it is suspicious and he would like you to investigate. You got a little bit of the clues the last time, but you have agreed to help him in trying to at least do some due diligence to determine what exactly happened. And also, you locked your prisoner in a kind of a makeshift cage for the Order of the Yard member to watch over. So, you find yourself on the island. What would you like to do?
Graham is going to ask our Order of the Yard buddy here. So is the murder weapon available for us to take a look at? See about this dried blood?
Yep. I've collected everything. Even the body of the victim hasn't been buried yet due to the ice, and no letters have been responded to for actually having his family collect the body yet. So currently, we've just been letting it sit in a cold house.
You could do a lot with a body, right, Graham?
Potentially, but they already did a speak with dead.
We did that a little more than a week ago. So if you wanted to, you could do it again.
This is not a character. Kaido wants a hamburger.
Not a. Yeah, what, like, you mean for drunk food? You mean?
No, I'm just kidding. Like body, anything to do with the body hamburger.
No, I just don't want to be near a fucking. Last time we were stuck in a crypt. I just don't want that to happen again.
Does the guy remember? Do you remember what questions you asked with Speak with Dead?
I didn't ask him any questions, but he shuffles through his pockets, pulls out a little binder with paper. I wrote down the notes of the case.
Okay.
May I see it? No.
He hands it over.
Graham will flip through it.
Most of these are just notes related to what had been done in the investigation. The basically writes down that the two men had been in an argument earlier in the day. The condemned Hugo Asen threatened to kill the victim, Alf Dale. They left the public building that you're in front of, and later that night, people from the town, when they were going to sleep, they found Hugo and Alf behind the actual public house. So not in the center of the town, which would be kind of south of where you are, but north, behind the building itself. They found Hugo with his knife in the back of the victim, and it was covered in dried blood. Hugo himself seemed to have been in a bit of a daze. Suspected he had been drinking just due to the fact that he had been witnessed drinking a lot, and he had spilled a bunch of beer on his shirt, on the front of his shirt. He was then arrested. The magistrate, a cleric, and the actual Order of the Yard member, Sir Thorm, came down and did the investigation. Sir Thorm did a Zone of Truth, thank you, on the condemned, which, as he notes, is not able to be used in a court of law, but as evidence. But he shows that the person did admit to the killing, and it was due to him accusing Alfdale of stealing money from him. Speaking to the victim was surprised from behind and does not know the name of his attacker. A lot of the information going to the victim is a bit vague. In essence, the corpse didn't really know too much, but they also did, from what you're looking through, it looks like mostly just preliminary questioning that isn't really like vastly in depth, as it was considered an open and shut case.
Okay. So it might be worth it to try speak with dead if we can think of questions for somebody who didn't see their attacker. We could also check out their houses and the murder scene.
Okay.
So we've got the evidence to look at, we've got the murder scene to look at, we have their domiciles to look at, and we have the body, and also probably the accused to question. What do you guys want to do first?
One last question. Did I might have missed it? I apologize. Did this person have a family? Did they have family members here?
The victim?
Yes, the victim.
Speaking to Thrum, he just tells you that the victim did not have any family on this island, and he primarily only rented a room. Technically, it's like the entirety of it's like a single room cabin, and he used this as like a stop off point when he would travel between the various towns doing tax collecting. Thrum mentions that this is technically his primary residence, though.
Gotcha. Okay, I guess I think the list Graham put together is our options.
Yeah. And specifically, no, he doesn't have family in the area. His family would be down south.
What order would that make sense? Should we just go investigate his place first before we start asking questions, just so we can get some ground laid down, or should we go ask? Should we split up, or no? That's asking for trouble, isn't it?
I mean, he's stalling. I don't think they're going to assemble a lynch mob if he doesn't execute this guy soon, but I mean, who knows? This is Viderheim.
This is Viderheim.
Okay. I guess let's start with the evidence, because that's kind of the most straightforward and easy.
Okay.
Also, please help me out on this one. I don't want to have to use my brain too hard today.
Yeah, I feel like you're in your element there with Graham because it's a murder with dead people.
It is, but unfortunately, Graham has several layers of self-esteem, confidence, and energy for life that Matt does not.
Matt, you just have to stretch your dark heresy muscles. Remember your origins.
The order I would do is probably evidence.
We'll go super shot, so we'll have to combine our shot brains.
I would do evidence, murder scene, and then like the home.
Evidence, murder scene, home. Okay.
That's the order I would go in personally.
I like that order. Is evidence, murder scene, home. Where do we put the questioning of the speak to dead and the accused in there?
Probably after the home, because.
Okay. I agree.
If nothing else, it'll help us either catch a lie or catch a discrepancy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Okay, let's go to the home. I want to flex my investigation muscles. Oh God! Oh, Jesus Christ!
All right, which home would you like to go to first?
Let's go to the home of the accused first.
Okay.
Okay. Sir Thrum points you down to the. It would be the west. No, I'm sorry. It'd be the east side. So, the opposite side of the island you had arrived on.
Let's get it back real quick.
Larger home down that way, right next to the docks.
Otto's dead. Okay.
Oh God.
All my money can go to Fern.
Wow.
I leave all my belongings to the man or animal that killed me.
What do these symbols mean? If you don't know, then you're not the man and animal that is going to kill me. I always love that line. All right, so you're going to the home. Very good. Yeah. As you approach, you do see that it is probably one of the larger buildings, not as large as the big public building in the center, but it is a larger house. Actually, it is 2 stories tall, and there is a dock next to it, as well as a small little shed. The home itself doesn't look to be in great shape, where the majority of the houses in town are at least in good condition. Repair has been done on them. This place looks like it has seen better days, as the boarded up windows are not boarded up very well and are kind of sloppily done. The home itself has definitely some like rough spots, like some of the roofing is worn away.
Okay, so there's a house, there's a shed, and there's a dock
Mhm.
to this little property. Okay. Well, I think
Let's check the shed.
we should check that.
Sheds
shed.
are where evil things happen, and also where lawnmowers go.
Okay. The shed door has been locked. And once you approach the shed, you see it's a relatively large for a building shed, with a door that faces the town and a door that faces the actual riverbank.
While presumably Fiffle is noodling with the lock, Graham is going to do a walk around of the shed and inspect the outside, see if anything looks squirrely.
I'd like to help with that investigation.
Okay, go ahead and one of you roll investigation at advantage.
I shall. I was also going to ask/joke. Does Graham get a bonus on small town murder mysteries because he's from a small town in the deep south where everybody's super polite, but everybody closes ranks if something happens?
I'll give it a lower DC for it.
Roll for good old boy.
Well, good to. So, looking around the shed, it's in surprisingly, compared to the house, good shape. The walls themselves are nice, solid wooden planks. The shed roof, instead of like the thatch, is actual tile. The door facing the riverbank itself is much larger double door versus the one single person door that faces the town. There are no windows that you can see. You suspect, having been told that the condemned is in charge of the boats, this is probably a shed that's used to store boating equipment and probably even smaller boats themselves.
Makes sense. Everything seems like nothing fishy, like footprints in the snow, anything.
Well, this had been like, you don't see anything that like has around here recently beyond some animal tracks. You do notice that the lock to the door itself has been scratched.
Hey, Fiffle, as a professional larcener, what do you make of the scratches on this lock? Somebody tried to get in here?
Yes.
It does appear to be that case, yes.
He's really good.
My God. Well, that's all good info.
I'm gonna write that down in my notepad.
I
For
don't know
this
how to
eventual book that
Exactly.
I'm writing.
The Life and Times of Piffle Tulip.
No, it's a how-to adventure edition, and I think the first chapter was picking up people. I think the second chapter was, I don't know. I've learned so much in the past.
Thievery and
Crime.
Thievery,
Yeah, how to
crime.
crime.
I think there's also a baking section just because randomly Fern was like baking, and I was like, oh, I'll write this down.
making
Basically,
money
like
with
no,
the
the
Wasteland
that
Survival
adventure with the
Guide
horse
D&D
carriage.
edition.
In the gambling section, and then there's like a footnote. This is a good recipe for muffins, and then it goes back to like gambling. Why is this in here? I don't
It'd be an
know.
incredible book.
It does sound like an incredible book.
I mean, get an editor, just clean it up, like get everything organized, and yeah.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna be like
Just make Carter
Adventuring
Webb
101.
do it. And he's just gonna like, first off, you know I'm mostly blind, right?
I
And
gotta
then he
ask.
can do it anyway.
In
There's
Comes
gonna be a
back and
side
gives you the
quest.
book, he's like, this was trash.
There's
in
gonna be a
every single-
side quest with the author back in Kirog about this book that Kaido's writing.
Jackson
Yeah.
makes his lackey do it, and then turns out that his lackey's a sublime editor.
That'd be hilarious. Kaido,
Oh, yeah.
in every section, you always say, "Don't go into tight spaces." What does that have to do? Just don't do it. Just trust me, don't do it.
Dude,
Yeah,
trust
but
me.
it's in every section. Yes, yes, it is.
People are gonna think it has like some deeper theme to it, like 100 years from now.
Yeah, they dig it up and they're like, "What does this mean? Muffins and gambling?"
You accidentally start like a religious sect.
Yeah, yes, that would be awesome. Oh no, that's awesome.
How to rob a wizard.
Yeah, right. Just like a lot of like blatant wizard hate in there. Like Jesus, he's borderline
It's like that like
racist.
season 1 Simpsons episode with the weasel hunt.
Wizards' lives
randomly-
don't matter. Oh my god.
You're gonna randomly reference asking Val for advice. People are gonna put it together. That's your sword. It's like
Val, what'd you think of him? He was
adventures
good, but he
of the
was a
legendary
blatant
swordsman
racist.
Kaido and his
Yes.
sword Val.
Honestly, I feel what's going to happen is people are going to combine the adventures of Kaido and Val and think that Val was the adventurer.
Yeah, I was about to say, like,
Sword.
the hero Val and his noble, intelligent sword Kaido.
It makes sense.
That'll-
So his sword has a he doesn't like to be in tight places, so he always like left them unsheathed.
Subs versus dubs, man, gets you every time.
It really does.
All right, but yes, Fiffle, if you would like to pick the lock, Thieves' Tool check.
I'll pick that shit.
Pick it.
Pick the fuck out of that shit.
Where's
I'd be surprised if you got low, but we'll see.
I'm summoning my buttons.
So many buttons.
You know what I always like wonder if like assisting someone with lock picking is like them just being really close to their ear and go like, you got this, like breathing really heavily.
You're holding the flashlight while you're
Yeah.
Lockpicking, assisting in lockpicking is like holding the flashlight for your dad to fix
Yeah.
the car, and he's like, "You're holding it wrong."
Why is the light over there? Is the lock over here or is it over there? I'm sorry, Dad.
29. Yeah, Fiffle, you basically just put your lockpick in it and it just opens up. Like, you really didn't even have to apply pressure to it.
Oh, he's good.
Piffle cocks an eyebrow at it and the lock flies open.
But, yep, and the door swings open. Revealing a shed that is full of you see a number of boats that have been like hung along the ceiling and along the side of the actual shed itself, mostly just small looks to be like dinghies and canoes. Inside you also see a number of things that would be used for boating, various tools used for repair, tar, you see some canvas, and a number of like shelves full of just tools. That's what you can see.
Boat you're foreign and suspicious to me.
Yeah.
It's clearly a place of no good.
Graham is going to take another look around.
Okay.
Can I get Kaido's assistance?
Yes. Yeah.
I'll look around. I'll help you
Graham
look
gives
around.
him a magnifying glass to hunch over close to the ground with.
You got this. You got this. Just
All
like
right.
invasively giving you a massage on your shoulder. Essentially, what you try to do every morning, Matthew, when I come in. Matt had this thing where I used to come in and be like, "You look very stressed," and then he would like try to give me this like very awkward shoulder
I
massage.
blame Carl for that one. Carl
I was
absolutely
like-
busted down the gates of uncomfortable homoeroticism.
I don't like this, Matthew. He goes, shh, 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 shh. I like this. And now I love it.
All right.
So,
Well,
this actually reminds me of
Ian's learning
something.
things today.
Ian and I were trying to figure out the other day where you were really upset, Rami, and Matt like made everything awkward. Is like, Matthew, read the room.
No,
And you
actually,
can't remember
Matthew
what it
always
was.
gets me out of my bad moods, to be honest with you.
Aw.
but yes, Graham, looking through, looking around, you don't really see anything out of the ordinary. What you actually do see, though, is that the tools are all in their exact spot. Looks like they're all kind of just either hung up on the wall or are tucked into these little either leather or wooden cases. But you do see one tool appears to be missing.
Oh,
Can I tell what tool is missing based on the shape of the where it would go?
Looking in, appears to be a small knife of approximately, you would think, maybe 4 to 6 inches.
4 to 6 inches? That's pretty huge.
Right?
I'm so
Like,
glad
that's
Matt-
big,
that-
right?
That's huge,
did
right?
get
Like
told what the
that's like
murder
a great
weapon
sword
was, right?
size, almost. Would you say? Do
You
I
would
have to update my
suspect it-
Tinder profile? Is what I'm asking.
You just expect it to be maybe between 4 to 6 inches long in terms of size.
Fucking massive. Got it. Got it.
Looks to be a single-edged knife, from what you can tell. Maybe a little, definitely a little longer, like than a penknife, but shorter than you would say like a knife used for actual
Fighting.
like violence and fighting. Yep.
Okay. Graham will make a note of that. He's also going to check the canvas itself, both for like stains or anything, and also if there's anything tucked within it or hidden behind it or under it.
Looking around in the canvas itself, you don't see anything that would look out of place. Looks like the canvas has simply been thrown over and tied around the boats. Probably for some part of weatherproofing, although with it being inside the actual shed itself, doesn't look like it was probably left outside for a bit and then was dragged in recently, probably since the icing started on the river itself.
All right. Graham is gonna take the canvas back to inspect the boats and if there's anything in them.
Okay. Roll another investigation.
I'm gonna help him out with this
advantage
one
or no?
Yeah. Yep.
Yay!
All right.
Thank God.
Looking inside the boat, you don't see anything out of the ordinary. In this dinghy itself, you just see some oars that had been placed inside. You see, looks to be coils of rope, and looks just a small tackle box and a couple of fishing poles.
I'd like to touch the underside of the boat and the rope and the oars. Are they damp? Have they been used recently, or was this boat out?
Touching them, they are dry.
They're dry. Okay. So the dock wasn't really used anytime soon.
I'm going to check those tackle boxes.
Inside the tackle box, you see a number of fishing hooks, fishing lures, and weights.
Okay. Everything looks above board.
Yeah, I mean, this shack you're in, everything seems to be at least attempt to keep things in order.
Lived in, but like nothing seems fishy, and it doesn't seem like cartoonishly well kept.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yep.
So Graham did a whole entire investigation in this place with my help. I would like to look at it through a different lens. Maybe I'm just going a little too in depth, but do you think I could like look at it from an Arcana perspective and see if there's anything weird going on, like an Arcana investigation check, or should I just do a full-blown detect magic? How would I go about doing that?
I mean, you could check and see if there's anything you notice that could.
I'll help you look for something that's magic based.
Yeah. Can I do an Arcana check with advantage?
Yeah, and if you think it's magic based, maybe you can investigate.
And then I'll detect. Yeah, something like that. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and come on. First roll. Shit.
Okay. Looking for evidence that there is something magical here or something magical had occurred. You don't really see anything.
Okay.
Looks like mundane.
Okay.
Is there anything in the house, in his home, anything he wrote down, or like just that might direct him in his intent?
You don't see anything in the shack itself. If you wanted to check the house, you could.
Maybe we should start moving to the. Maybe we should start moving to the house. Real quick question to the group: should we check out the docks before we go? Some people like put like a bag and like
yeah,
a rock.
we're definitely going to check out the dock
let's
before
look
we're
at
done
it.
here. Do you want to do that next, or do you want to go to the house first?
I think there's less to check out at the dock, so maybe we should just get that off our list and then just go to the house and put all our energy into there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a quick trip to the dock.
Figure the dock would be near this boathouse, right?
Yeah, that's
should
what I
be.
figured too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, the dock's only a couple dozen feet away from you.
So
More.
I will reclose everything and redo the lock.
Okay.
Put everything back the way it was.
And then we'll spray paint. We were here on the side.
The moon rules #1.
Keep everything the same, and then a huge "we were here." Yeah, so I guess we'll head over to the docks.
All right. As you arrive at the docks, they're not huge, as you have seen in other towns. These are very small docks, just some planks of wood and some wooden poles have been set up. The docks themselves mostly just kind of stretch along the bank itself for about 20 feet, and a small pier that actually goes into the river itself about 10 feet. Looks like you could tie a few dinghies to the actual dock itself, but you don't see any boats in the water currently.
Is the water deep?
It's difficult to tell as it's frozen over.
Oh, it's frozen.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and jab the frozen water with Val a little bit. Try to see if I can break the ice.
Make an attack roll
Really? Oh God. Oh my. Don't
to
let
see
me
if
down
you
now,
can.
Val.
I'm
It's just
pretty sure the
fucking
ice has an armor class of 0. Or maybe
Okay, I
Being
rolled a
magical
1.
doesn't exempt the sword from being misused and breaking that way.
Yeah, just go roll damage to see how I guess how depends how strong you're like trying to stab the ice.
Just trying to break the ice. The
Okay.
first.
You just
So hey, how
stab.
much does a polar bear weigh?
Yeah.
Kinda-
Right.
Not enough to break the ice. I'm Matt.
Damn it, Matthew. All right, you take the tip of Val and you kind of like jab it into the ice, and this close to the shore, it's relatively thick. You would probably put it at. Well, you're not really sure how thick it is exactly, but you're not able to break it by just stabbing it with the tip of Val.
Gotcha. Okay. I thought maybe somebody might have hid something underneath the ice, but it looks like it's been iced over for a while, so maybe not.
You also know that this occurred about a week or two ago.
Ah. I could always drop Val under the water so he could look around and then call him back to my hand and he could tell us what's down there.
You certainly could.
I could do that. I don't know if that's just a waste of time of me hitting ice here. Maybe we should just...
Can
Go
I
to the
roll
house.
another investigation just for generally inspecting the dock and the surrounding area?
Yes, of course.
I'm going to assume advantage. Tell me if no.
Yes,
Jesus.
I'll help.
After that nat 20, it's just like, all right, you had your fun.
I mean, you're not getting bad.
That's
It's
true.
actually above. Technically, it's above
We're gonna-
average
we're
or
gonna-
average.
We're gonna tune you back.
It's just like 2 for flinching, you son of a bitch.
Inspecting the dock, you don't see anything strictly out of the ordinary. You investigate around, looking. You see like some poles where they would have some dinghies tied off. The rope itself has been left wound around it and has been. You see like an end of it has been cut, but it looks like it was probably cut and then tapered off a few weeks ago. The dock itself doesn't really seem super interesting to you.
Okay. All right.
I guess, yeah, if you want to maybe have him check the underside of the dock, have Val take a look. Also,
Okay.
Graham is going to be like, ask him first. Like, you ask his permission before you dunk him in cold water. I don't know what etiquette is for magic swords, but
All right.
I'd be
I'll
pretty
ask
mad
him.
about it.
Hey, buddy. Hi, Val.
Kaido?
Listen, you've been awake this whole time. You know what the scenario is. I don't have to run you through it. But here's the thing: there may be something under this dock that'll help us solve this murder.
Mm-hmm.
What say you take a little dip down there, take a peek around, and then I'll call you right back. 5 seconds tops. Right. First of all, does temperature bother you?
No.
Okay, great. So this is an even easier ask than we were thinking. So what say you? A little quick dip into the water, you take a little quick peek, and then I'll call you right back up.
Kaido, you already struck the ice with me. You know it's frozen over.
Yes, a couple of strikes, and then we'll break through it, and then you'll just go down there. You'll just do a quick check around, and then up we go.
Very well.
You're okay with this?
I imagine. I suppose if it's for the purpose of ensuring justice, then yes.
Okay, I'll look back over to my team and say, guys, my sword's on board. Guys, my sword's down for this.
I also suppose I
We're
can't
on board.
technically dull from being struck against the ice.
Yes, that's true. That's true. All right, so
Graham-
should we just...
Graham's going to take a moment apart at the declaration, my sword is on board for this plan, to re-examine his life and just go for his flask real quick.
Graham's also like, 10% sure that the sword is still not talking to Cat. I know it's a magic sword, but I think he's making the talking part up. I'm just not sure. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and try to break through this thick layer of ice on the top, so I can dunk Val into the water, give him a swirly, so he can look around and then call him back up. So
make a couple of athletic checks just to smash the ice. Yep.
Who can do?
Could I assist by using my pick to actually ice break a little, chop it up?
Yeah. We'll just say it's a lower DC. It takes you about a minute, but you're able to, with Graham's help, eventually just kind of punch a big enough hole through the ice. Definitely goes down a few inches. You've made a big enough hole that you could stick the blade of Val through the hole itself. You're not sure if you can actually fit the handle though. Once it gets to the hand guard.
Oh, that's probably fine then. I'll put Val. I mean, he's a great sword, so I'll put Val all the way.
He's the best sword, Rami.
He is the best sword. He's the greatest
The
sword.
okay sword.
The double-handed best sword. So I will go ahead and dunk Val in the water. Let him take a quick peek around. How do I make an investigation check for Val?
You're checking if you're waterboarding your sword.
You just hear him telepathically, I don't see anything, Rami. There's some... Kaito. There's fish, if that's what you're interested in.
Okay. And then I will take Val back out, and I will wrap him in my scarf, because he is probably freezing cold.
I already told you, Kaito, I'm not affected by heat.
You don't have to be strong for me, Val.
Or cold. I suppose if it got cold or too hot, then I would, but right now I'm fine.
Buddy. Of course you're not. I will wrap him up tightly, not listening to anything he's saying about the cold not bothering him. It's like that guy in high school that wore shorts and he swore he wasn't cold, but you could tell he was cold. You don't have to be tough. We know.
Some buried trauma here.
Kaito, I'm literally made of metal.
I know, but our hearts is what, I don't know.
I don't have a heart, Kaito.
I don't know what you want from me.
All right, I think the dock is pretty. It's safe to say we're good here.
Didn't see nothing?
Did not see anything.
Okay.
I trust Val. That 10% where Graham thought that Val is not talking just went to 20%. Definitely not real.
Uh-huh.
No, off to the house we go, I guess.
From a meta perspective, I did have a thought, but Graham doesn't know it.
An interesting... What does Matt, but not Graham, think?
I was going to ask, he mentioned there are fish. Fish that close to the docks is usually unusual. I was going to see, like, are they, like, milling around something, like they're pecking away at, like, a whale fall kind of deal?
Ooh. This may be turning into the chair scenario from the Mighty Nine, where it's just a fucking... Matt goes, there's a chair in the room.
I've been...
Arcana.
You know how we've been joking about hypervigilance as a character?
Yeah.
That this is what Watchmaker was like all the time.
Yeah. It was like an hour in, and the DM pretty much goes, "It's just a fucking chair, guys. It's just a fucking chair."
There's heretics on the space station.
I've written this whole entire world for you, and you've been stuck in this room inspecting. It's just a fucking chair.
I think did he like move the chair to like stand on something, and that's why they thought that it was important.
It was just one chair. No, it was. I don't remember. It was just a random chair. He just glossed over it, and everybody like hyper focused on the chair. They're like, "What's it doing there?" It's just being a chair. What's it for? For sitting.
Having been the victim of like cunning traps where the completely innocuous thing is the thing. It sucks when you're like, oh god damn it, so I can understand the paranoia.
Yeah, for sure. I do too. But that's a pretty good thing you just said about the fish being closed there. That actually does kind of check out.
Though the problem is, I know it, Graham doesn't.
You don't think Graham would have clocked it? Okay.
Well, no, because he asked, did he see anything, and Kaito said no.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's canon. We'll leave that.
That's fine. Sometimes
I feel like Kaito's just
Ian
not
can have a
smart
little
enough.
disaster party. It's a treat.
Yeah. we know, but let's just see our characters crash and burn.
Where's the caveman?
All right. Off to the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Graham will once again case around the outside and inspect it before we go for the doors.
Go ahead and grow another investigation.
Okay.
That was system.
One less roll.
There
All right.
we go.
Yeah, Graham, looking around the edge of the house itself, and definitely in comparison to the shed, the house is not in good shape. A lot of the building material has kind of rotted away. The windows have not been properly boarded up, and some of the actual roofing has, instead of the nice tile on the shed, is just thatch and is either rotting or has kind of fallen in. The house itself looks like it's in need of a lot of repair. The windows have been... They look like they've been boarded up, not to provide strictly protection, but simply to keep the weather out, but the poor job has been done. And the home itself, from like the front door, that doesn't even look latched or locked in any way, shape, or form.
So what does that say? He keeps his shed in pristine condition, but his house is in absolute disarray.
Or murderer.
It's what?
Hobbyist or murderer.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's
murder
a
is a
possibility.
hobby.
Becoming small.
Do we recall if there was a bed cot in the shed? Was there a place where the
Obvious
person was
murderer.
probably sleeping there?
I didn't see a bed or any place where
You
somebody
didn't
would
see anything
sleep.
like that? Okay. I wonder if he was just like living out of his shed and maybe just like abandoned the house, but that doesn't seem like it either.
Hey, get out of my shed.
All right. Is this door locked as well?
Doesn't appear to be.
All right. I will clock that and let the rest of the team. No. Do I hear anything? I don't even want to go in yet. Do I hear anything like moving, creaking, anything in the house?
Make a perception check.
Oh, my perception sucks balls.
I was gonna say.
Don't
Nope,
even bother.
you don't hear anything.
Guys, coast is clear.
Guys, I hear a fire-breathing dragon, but
Yeah. There's literally like flames coming out of the house and everything. I'm like, guys, I think it's clear. I think it's good. All right. I feel like this is one of the moments where I have to be fucking confident, and I will slowly creak open the door and peer into this raggedy house.
Okay. The house itself, looking inside from what you can initially see, doesn't look to be very clean. See like furniture kind of just strewn around. A bed that has not been made. The table itself has some wooden plates and utensils on it. Doesn't appear to be... It looks like the plates themselves have like food, like old food on them. You see some empty bottles and steins around, what smells like alcohol in them. Just looks very dirty.
I'll give a more confident coast is clear to everybody.
Graham is gonna do another sweep inside.
Okay, make another investigation roll.
yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Looking around, Graham, you find some different things, like under the bed, kind of hidden in a small like piece of the mattress. On the other side, you find a bag. Looks to have some money in it. Looks to be 8 gold and 3 silver. You also find a small leather-bound notebook that looks to be maybe the journal or some sort of business record for the condemned. The actual building itself, I've been looking around. You're looking for anything that might come out of the ordinary, but it doesn't strike you as really being out of the ordinary, with the possible exception of a vast quantity of empty bottles of beer.
Okay. Can I arrange some kind of chronology based on how stale and old the beer smells bottle by bottle?
Yeah,
Do I get a bonus for alcoholism on this?
Looking through, most of these are pretty old. Doesn't look like anyone's really been to this house for about a week.
Shocking.
But a lot of the dirt and grime in it is definitely older than that. Doesn't look like the person took very good care of the house. Most of this, especially the beer,
You see my
looks
kitchen
like
Florian.
most of the bottles look like they also they're fine glass, like they're actual like made of glass as opposed to like wooden barrels that you would just have go into a stein.
Yeah.
So you suspect maybe a higher degree of wealth, or maybe just he's friends with a glassmaker.
I'm guessing he's probably doing some smugglery shit. Graham is going to, while he's checking under the mattress, put the bag of gold back
Okay.
and hope Fiffle doesn't decide to inspect after him. He will, however, take the journal and, after giving it a once-over, try to read it.
Okay. Looking through the journal, you are aware that the person here is actually literate. But looking through the journal, it is less like a nice, organized journal that like puts the thoughts. It's more like rambling stream of conscious.
Okay.
And the person who was writing it definitely did not like a lot of the people in the town. He uses some rather colorful language, language that would not be considered very polite. He really goes on and just lists every sort of thing that people have done to cross him. But the latest entry does mention the person who died, Alfdale, mentions that he had overcharged him for taxes. Breaks away into a thought about like how the taxes are not fair to begin with, and then goes back to his his initial point. You actually do see a lot of rambling and just like it does not flow in a nice orderly fashion. But he definitely seems to have a lot of hatred for the actual person that had died, Alfdale, mentioning he's talked about it at length with people in the town to try and get them on his side, but they, for whatever reason, don't seem terribly interested in listening to him for a reason he can't quite pin down.
He hasn't quite cottoned on. The ramblings about how he's been crossed by people in the town, do they seem like real grievances or the grievances of somebody who's paranoid and hates people? Like, have they been fucking with him, or is he the fucker?
Most of it seems rather paranoid, and what few things you might consider to be real grievances seem vastly blown out of proportion.
Yeah. Okay, so he's me. Got it.
This is he also, you get the feeling he does talk about like things he has done to them and attempts to downplay it or
Gotcha.
gloss over it as well.
So he's my mom. No. Okay. Graham is gonna note this. Does the ink on that entry about the tax guy, A, does it look the same as the rest? B, does the handwriting look similar? And C, is there anything else like unusual about it?
The handwriting is the same. Ink looks the same. Really, it all looks to be like it was written by the same person using the same ink. The handwriting itself rather sloppy.
We didn't see anything written in the shed, did we? We didn't see any like labels or anything like that on his.
Oh, I mean, you saw everything. Like things would have been labeled properly.
And with his handwriting,
some of it is an older script that was written probably many years ago. and has faded now, but is still to an extent visible.
Does the handwriting look the same there?
The older script is different from his, cleaner, more legible. Newer newer labels, definitely that kind of like sloppy, newer kind of handwriting that
So
you
if he just
suspect to be him.
degraded in like mental state.
Graham's gonna look through the rest of the book past the written pages to see if there's like a ledger or anything for his boating business stuff.
Yep. Looking in the back of the book, you do see some business dealings. Does look like people have had to come and use his services, either to rent boats or to rent space to tie up their boats at the dock. Mentions a lot of people coming and going. With it busier in the spring and summer, and definitely slowing down around fall, winter. In fact, you really don't see any real purchases or anything done for the winter itself once the ice formed on the river itself.
Okay. Are there any entries for like a glass maker or a glass blower or shipments of alcohol?
Looking through it, you see him sort of bragging about taking the glass bottles from the public building and just refusing to return them even when people have asked him to.
What an asshole. Graham will make a note of that.
You get a kind of ha-ha go me feel from it when he mentions it.
Graham will remember this.
What an asshole. Okay. That's all helpful.
We consider that maybe we're just wasting our time and he's guilty, and we should just leave it.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but that would be nuts.
I mean, it could be leading to that, but there's still. Just because the guy's a dick doesn't mean he deserves to die, no matter how we all feel about dicks deserving to die.
Is it metagaming knowing Ian's character and that he would never make it that simple? Is that metagaming? I think that's metagaming.
I mean, Ian likes low-key fucking with you.
God damn it, so he's making us think it's more complicated.
He would love it if you try to read him and make the incorrect call, and it turns out, oh, surprise, the guy's guilty, or oops, surprise, the guy is innocent. I'm not saying he would change the result. I'm just saying he likes to keep his options open.
Yeah.
So
So
our two options are guilty or not guilty. Ian chose that he's a werewolf. I know.
He is quilty.
He's a were-vampire.
Yeah.
My God. We haven't inspected the murder weapon yet, which is where the dried blood is interesting. Because it sounds like it was already dried by the time the guy found it. Which seems kind of a miss.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he just murdered a dude with it, it would not be, like, coagulated dry. I don't know how much you guys know about dried blood, but...
No, but you're right. We should question him anyway. We should look at the murder weapon, and then we have also the victim's house to check out.
Yeah, the victim's house. We could also inspect the victim's body when we try to speak with dead.
Okay, I think we've gotten everything we wanted from this area. Is there an upstairs to this house, or is it just one floor?
No, there's two.
Two floors. Okay.
All right.
But yeah, let's check out the second floor.
Okay. The upstairs looks to be primarily just some kind of storage. You see a lot of crates and various boxes and barrels around. Most of it is filled with kind of salted fish, as well as most of it you also find to be kind of empty beer kegs.
Empty beer kegs. I'm so sorry, Graham.
Doesn't look to be. It doesn't look like you can see anything out of the ordinary at an initial glance.
Graham is gonna do the sleuthy thing again, including checking inside those barrels, behind those barrels, up against walls and corners.
Okay. Do another investigation roll.
Nice.
Yeah, Graham, you actually do find that one of the barrels has been moved. While there is a lot of dust in this initial upstairs area, as things probably haven't been touched in a while, you do see that one barrel has been pushed to the side. The barrel itself was in the corner of the upstairs here, and looks like it has been slid out from the wall. You see some footprints kind of like in this corner area as well.
Graham will point that out and begin inspecting that area more closely.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll help out.
Another investigate or something else?
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So looking at the footprints, it's hard to tell. It looks like it was made by a boot print. Um, the boots themselves don't look to be anything strictly out of the ordinary. You don't see anything that would say like you don't see any wear to the heel or the sole of the boot. Um, you typically just see these boot prints kind of up here, kind of like shuffled around a bit though, as if it was person was kind of like moving around in small, short steps.
All right.
Okay.
Graham will again note that and try to look around, like try to piece together where they might be facing if they were trying to put something in or take something out from the area where the footprints are.
Yeah, looking at the boot prints, they are pointed out from the corner, so it looks like whoever was here had been facing their back to the corner and then facing out. Looking from where you can see them looking out would look down to the actual like downstairs area, over the bed, over the tables, all of that.
Interesting. Graham is going to put himself in that position and look down and see what he sees from that angle.
As you get into you have to crouch down a bit to get under the little overhang of the roof. But yeah, crouch down this angle. You can see really the whole of the downstairs area from this kind of loft, and it is very just easy to like peek around and see somebody like whoever would be down there or whatever's going on in the bottom area here. Crouched down, you're also kind of hidden in shadow. It would be more difficult for somebody to see you if they were downstairs looking up.
So they're boot prints specifically, though. Can I get any further detail or just boot prints?
Just boot prints.
All right. I'm assuming Graham doesn't see anything else amiss from that position.
No, not really. Not from what
Okay.
you can see.
Okay, well that's useful. Graham will also point that out to the party. I guess in terms of detail, like the best I could do is like grab the size of the boots, maybe like take out my own book and like draw the boot print, so maybe we could figure out who was wearing them.
Okay. The boot print,
Real
from what you
CSI
can
shit.
determine, is well, they don't really have like boot prints in terms of like a size 8 or a 9, but you get a taking out the page from your book, you're able to get a good trace of the size of the print itself. You would say it would be actually comparable to maybe your boot print.
I'm the murderer. I'm going to jail for a long time.
Actually, you'd be put to death.
Yeah, these things happen.
The extra
Okay,
twist.
that's helpful.
Okay, so,
And because I looked inside the bag of gold in the mattress, all that it had was a little squirreled away stash of money, right?
Yep.
Okay, so nothing in that pouch to overlook. Okay, continuing to make things intriguing here.
we should probably go and question the accused.
We can also check the murder scene and the evidence, which I think we might want to do first, because that
Before,
way,
yeah, so we can
if
have
he
some.
lies to us or he believes something that the evidence doesn't agree with, like a sign of magical compulsion.
Yeah, yeah. Do any of us have a zone of truth, or no? We've just been a victim of zone of truth a couple times.
But we could probably ask our Order of the Yard guy if he could do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he could, but we could ask him. Something to keep in mind.
Okay, so are we pretty happy with this property? Should we just go to the murder scene now?
Invest. Yeah, I think check the weapon, check the murder site.
Is there a basement to this house?
You did not see a basement when you were doing your investigation.
Okay.
I guess on the way out, Graham will do the hop up and down and place on the floorboards to see if he finds like a hidden nook either on the first or second floor.
Nope, you don't see anything.
Scooby-Doo shit.
You do know that a lot of buildings in Viderheim do have basements or are partially built underground to like have the kind of average temperature.
Thermal
Like
protection.
this place, you haven't seen any basements. You have a feeling that maybe there's like an aquifer underneath.
Okay. That could be helpful information in its own right. All right, cool.
Okay.
And,
Off to the murder scene.
Let us go to either check the evidence or check the murder scene.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
which would you like?
Let's check the evidence.
First.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Heading back to Sir Thrum. Greetings.
Yeah.
Did you find anything additional?
Well, there's something a little weird going on. Somebody moved something on the second floor of his house and had a nice little perch to see everything going on downstairs out of view. It's the only thing that was moved. There's a missing knife from his shed. Everything else looks to be more or less in place.
Mm-hmm.
He might have motive with his journal entries, his latest one about the victim, but something don't sit right with me on this.
Well, the knife was missing. Well, actually, he takes out a small leather case, pulls out a single-edged knife about 4 inches long, covered in dried blood.
Okay.
This,
Where was this weapon found? Was it in the victim?
Yep, in his back.
And all the blood was already dried, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Very strange.
That's what I was thinking.
Thus, the side quest. Graham will investigate the knife.
All right, do a investigation on the knife.
Eh.
All right. The knife itself is a small steel blade, 4 inches long. The handle appears to be ivory with some scrimshaw on it, mostly just depicting some fish. The blade itself is sharp, and besides the blood on it, which has dried over the course of these couple weeks, you see some fiber in the by the handle. Looks to be probably rope fiber.
That's interesting. We did find a one rope had been tapered off after being cut. Does it look like it's rope, the same kind of rope fiber?
Looks to be similar, yes.
Holy
Looking
shit.
at it, you would suspect this is probably a knife used for cutting rope or just generic work on a ship
Makes sense.
or a boat.
Okay. And all the boats. Actually, do we know how many boats this place has total?
You got a few around here. I haven't talked to any of the people in this town concerning that. I would talk to maybe some of the town folks. They might know a little bit more about it than me. Well, they have to.
Understood.
I mean, I just arrived in a small dinghy that was brought us over,
Okay.
and that's
Did
about
they
the
happen to
extent.
mention if that dinghy belonged to the accused?
Nope, this would have been a dinghy from the a village on the other side that we had asked to borrow.
All right. Is there anything else about the blood other than the fact that it's dried?
Well, we haven't been able to determine anything. We've utilized a detect magic on the blade itself, but it doesn't appear to have any magic on it. From what I can see, it's just dried blood. Looks very similar to the stump that you would, take off a head on.
Hmm. The victim was found with one stab wound.
A single stab wound to the back. It immediately punctured the heart.
That's pretty precise.
Or
I
lucky.
don't know if a drunk guy could make that kind of clean stab, and I feel like an angry drunk man wouldn't stop with one stab. I don't know how many stabbings you've seen, probably a few in your line of work, but it's usually not just one, you know?
Nope, you're correct. It's my gut instinct did find that strange. Normally, in a street fight like this, you'd expect to find a victim with at least a few stab wounds. A single one directly to the back is very, very clean, very suspicious in that regard.
I'm inclined to agree. And were there any other signs of damage on the body itself? Any trauma?
Looks from what occurred, the stabbing happened from behind. The victim fell over and either had died instantly or quickly bled to death. Beyond that, there was not a single amount of trauma on the body. No bruises or additional cuts beyond the damage from the fall itself to the nose, and that's about it.
Understood. All right. Was there any other evidence to look over while we're here, or just the knife?
That's what we discovered at the actual crime scene itself.
Okay. Let's check out that crime scene.
Crime scene is, and he kind of like directs you with his head, behind the public building here. Go back about 30, 40 feet. I should warn you that the snow has covered the majority of it, but I have placed a small marker next to it so you can find it.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you.
Graham will head that away and remind me, this is to the team, remind me / us to check out the victim's house as well. But yeah, let's go check the murder scene.
All right.
That's right. We do have to go to the victim's house.
At the murder scene itself, well, you do find a small marker. It really is just a little wooden stake that has been stuck into the ground. It has a single cloth wrapped around it that has the Order of the Yard colors on it.
Okay.
The scene itself is, well, covered in fresh snow and doesn't really look to be, from your initial just overview, anything special, as it looks to just be down a small hill, and then it tapers off to relatively flat. And when I say a small hill, I mean it's like an incline that is only going up about like 3 to 4 feet.
Okay.
The rest of the area
guess,
is flat.
Very, very gently, we should clear the snow if we can.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll assist.
All right. This will be another investigation.
All right. Here we go. 18.
Brushing aside some of the snow, you do eventually find some dried blood that had been covered up by the snow. It looks to be a relatively decent amount that has pooled out from the victim and onto the snow and then dried over the course of, I mean, it would probably take a good few hours to dry, especially in an icy environment.
Okay. Does the blood look the same as that on the knife?
It does.
Okay. So this is probably where the man fell. Was he, I guess we haven't asked this, so I may not know. Was he on his back or on his, no, he was on his front because he hit his nose.
Mm-hmm.
Which means the blood would have to pool, unless it was a through and through, it would have to come up and out. Wouldn't that mean he was bleeding? Which means his heart was pumping?
You were told that he had either died instantly or probably died relatively quickly after being stabbed.
Okay, so that's not inconsistent.
We should check out the body.
Yeah, we'll be definitely doing that.
After
Is there
this, we should
anything
definitely check out
else
the body.
on the scene itself?
Not that you can really see. Most of it, unfortunately, from what you can determine, has been covered up by snow or trampled over by the people who were inspecting it.
Okay, so maybe. Any identifiable boot prints in this strata of snow, assuming it iced?
The prints are difficult to see. from what iced over boot prints you do see, it is just probably a good dozen, maybe 2 dozen different boot prints. They do look similar in size and shape to each other. Um, you suspect there probably is only a single cobbler in town.
Yeah. So probably too difficult to tell if the size of the murder boot or the questionable shack boot is in there.
Mhm.
It was a long shot, unless maybe Fern could like roll survival on that. I don't think I can find anything with that.
You could certainly try.
I
Sure.
will suggest our Benui tracker do the Benui tracking thing.
I can help you. I can assist you in that.
All right,
Okay.
Fern, go ahead and roll survival.
Guy.
That's me.
My cat just pushed my door open. Hello, cat. She's like Kuzco. She's very forceful. Just boom, baby.
I'm going to be your friend, whether you like it or not. Yeah, Fern,
Nice.
looking over the boot prints, there's definitely a lot of different prints here. Some of them have wear to the tread of the sole. Some of them have holes. But you do eventually find a boot print that had iced over that would be... You only find the single of it, and it's only a partial, but it does seem to match the one that Graham had found in the house itself.
Cool.
Okay, I'll point that out to him.
Graham will check it out. Does it look like it's older from being iced over?
From what you can determine, it looks to be about 2 weeks old. From the number of boot prints here and just the timeline you had been given, most people found this body probably an hour or two after the person had died.
Okay. So it looks to be about the same age as the rest of those footprints?
Yep.
Okay. Graham will do an etching of
course.
the partial boot print as well.
Graham also would be smart enough to know he's not able to get a boot print and determine how freshly it is after 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. I was just hoping maybe if it was like, you know how if it snows multiple times and it freezes, it'll have like a hard layer.
Yep.
And then, yeah.
But
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Anything
it's
else
more
we want to
info.
see here? I definitely think we should see the body next, and then you wanted to check the victim's house too.
Body next, or yeah, okay.
No? You think victim's house then body?
I guess it mostly doesn't matter. I'm mostly just I really don't want to do speak with dead because I suck at coming up with those questions.
well, you got 5 of them. You can come up ahead of time.
Yeah, that's true. If you guys have any ideas, shout them out.
All right, maybe we'll go to his house then. I just want to check I wanted to check the body.
Actually, yeah. Now that I say it, it probably makes more sense to go for the house first because that way if we find something, we'll have more questions to ask about that
Yeah.
could find a discrepancy.
I forgot
Okay.
about speak for dead. I speak to dead. I was actually just thinking about looking at it, seeing source of the death maybe is different than what we presume it to be.
That's another plausibility. So let's go to the victim's house.
Yep.
Okay.
Hello, Pat.
You get directions to the victim's house, a small one-room cottage that is on the west side of the island, sort of actually where you entered.
Check the outside.
Okay.
Check the door. Check the inside.
Is there a shed here too?
No shed. This actually, though, is in like a small row of housing. Looks like a bunch of them have been kind of like placed together and are just, no real space in between them. This shack, though, would be on the edge of them. Looking around, you don't see anything that looks entirely suspicious. This house is unique in that it has glass windows versus just getting like boards up over or even paper up over the windows. The door is a thicker, nicer wood. The house is in good shape. It does have a thatch roof, but it looks like it's definitely seen some upgrades from what the other houses in the row have.
Gotcha.
That's interesting. Let's check the door.
Okay. The door is locked.
All right, Fiffle, time for super fighting larceny.
Fiffle must break the law for justice.
Save the law.
Larceny I.
All right. Fiffle, you once again pop open the lock with very little effort.
Just bullying it. Does the lock have any scratch marks on it like the shed did?
This one does not, no.
Okay. And did I write that down? Yes, I did. Okay. Trying to keep an encyclopedia of most or all the facts. Trying.
Okay.
Let's go inside and have a look.
Okay.
Yep.
Inside an initial glance, you see a organized home. The bed is actually raised up above the ground, has little posts, an actual mattress. It has been made properly with a pillow. There is a table and chairs. The dining room is in good condition. All the plates and silverware have been put away. You also see it would be like a like travel equipment that has been placed in a corner of the room.
Graham will inspect the travel equipment first.
Okay. The travel equipment is primarily a tent, a sleeping bag, and a number of things that would be used for somebody who would be going on the road, as well as what looks to be in essence, a kind of advertisement for a carriage service. Graham also would see a heavy wooden box that has been stamped with the symbol of both Viderheim and the symbol of the Groven family, which would be a raven in a green field.
All right.
Groven
Is that
family?
chest locked? Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
Was it? Did he say Groven family?
Yep,
Do we know these?
that would be the Duke.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The chest itself is locked, yes.
Okay.
I'll
Fiffle,
check
I'm
out
going to
the
ask
bed
you to
area.
open this. Do not take anything from this. There's only one thing scarier than the wrath of the dead, and that is the wrath of a duke.
Do you think this belongs to a duke?
It's got his royal crest on it, and this guy was a tax collector. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And you're saying we shouldn't take it?
Oh, no, we should check it. We just shouldn't take
Sounds like
anything from
out of
it.
character. If I was chaotic, I'd be like, "This sounds exciting to take,"
I know.
but I'm not.
Become ungovernable.
Piffle makes a mental note about potentially stealing some taxes from the duke, and he goes ahead and tries to open that for you.
Okay. Go ahead and do another Thieves' Tool roll, please.
You
This-
could in here and frame that count on stealing taxes.
This lock pops open. It definitely is a more complex lock, but it doesn't really take you too long to actually unlock it. So over takes about maybe a 10-second period, but you're able to pop it open. Inside, you see a number of sacks of cloth that have kind of just filled the bottom, as well as a notebook that has been tucked into the side.
Oh well,
Let's
definitely
investigate.
check out that notebook.
Graham will open the bags and check. I'm assuming they'll probably be taxes.
Inside, you do see numerous gold, silver, and copper coins, as well as but mostly just gold and silver. Without counting it, you would probably put it to about 1 to 200 gold coins.
Oh no, I've got an urge.
As well as several hundred silver and a lot of copper. The chest itself, you suspect it would probably weigh a decent amount, and you do notice that it does have some small wheels on it.
Graham is going to check the notebook. I'm guessing it'll be a ledger.
It is in fact a ledger. Inside, you do see a number of entries indicating who has or paid taxes, who has yet to pay their taxes, as well as the amount that they have done, like the amount that they have been taxed and the amount that they need to be. You also see a number of notes indicating various audits. This is just what you can see through a quick glance over. If you'd like, you could investigate further.
Yes.
I would like to look up the accused specifically.
Yeah, I want to check the accused, and I want to see if he's got more than 1 year in this ledger. I want to see if the rates on what he paid were different, like his taxable income or whatever.
Yep. Do an investigation roll.
I'll assist.
Thank you.
Well.
20 either way.
I don't know.
Either way. The tax book is organized not only by year, but also alphabetically and by the town itself. So looking for this town and the accused by last name, you do find an entry. Do you start with the latest year or the earliest year?
Let's start with the latest year.
Okay. Latest year, it shows that the accused has paid 4 gold in taxes, but there's a note that says to audit.
All right. I will go back through the other years and compare.
The other years show a much higher taxable income, showing the previous year that he had paid 8 gold, as then going back further to, you see like around 8 to 12 gold a year. Going back even farther, you do see in a different handwriting with initials that were written by what appears to be an earlier tax collector. You see Ozen, but you don't see Hugo Ozen. It appears to be a different person with the same last name with much higher taxable income on this island.
All right. That's good info. Graham is going to then look at the latest year paid and what the results say should be in the chest, and then he's going to count the money.
Yep, go ahead.
I'll ask Graham, what about how much money was in that sack under the bed?
The money under the sack was, I think it was 8 gold and 3 silver.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the difference?
Potentially. He paid 4 gold this year, and he paid 8 prior, 8 to 12 over the years back, and then there was a presumably different Ozen with a much higher taxed income. So either the family's been losing money over the years, or there's some tax dodging going on, or both.
So this is the guy that made the tax evasion game.
Cannon.
Turnip Boy commits tax evasion.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's still good info. Graham is going to count the money and compare it to the ledger.
Does he count? Well, the money itself doesn't looks to be the various sacks are labeled by the town. Looking
So
in the actual sacks and comparing to the amount that was gathered from the town this year, it would match.
Okay, so the numbers line up with the town. That's good. Let me make a note of that. One bag, match, ledger.
The sacks that are in there that are labeled per town, is that the same sack we found in the accuser's house or victims in the house?
Similar to, but it would be just looks like a generic money pouch.
Okay.
It has a dollar sign on the side, even though we don't use dollars. Look at this rune. Okay.
I guess theoretically you could call it. No, I have no god that's actually related to money.
Let's just blame Mammon.
I'm going to call it, I guess the only one would be Fayir, Harvest and Crafting. It's the Rune of Fayir.
Nice. Dollar bill, Joe. What's a dollar and what's a bill?
What's the
Okay.
goal?
Technically, I guess you would know what a bill is if you assumed it would be like what you were charged.
Do they have bail bonds? Okay. Graham is gonna reclose the chest,
Mhm.
and he's gonna relock the chest.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean, it's not gonna stop Fiffle, but it might be a barrier to entry enough to prevent us
It
from
might-
getting arrested
it
for felony
might
tax
temporarily
charges
give him
while
a
doing this
hiccup.
investigation.
It might
The
be a
way he's
speed
been
bump. Is that
rolling-
what you're
Getting
saying?
out of sight helps Piffle make better risk versus reward.
Yeah, I'm kind of
that
hoping it's
decision.
one of those things where it's like the gas oven thing, where suicides went down after gas ovens stopped being prevalent. Access is 90% of the cause.
Right.
I'm a cheerful person. All right. Let us check the rest of the house.
And yeah, Fiffle, if you would like to commit tax theft, please let me know.
I'll hold off for now. Graham, you know, I don't want Graham to lose it. It's been a lot lately.
We've got like a little sign. It has been 0 days since the crossed blades drove Graham to drink.
Yeah.
Where's the rest of the numbers? There ain't no other numbers.
Exactly.
All right.
Another investigate for the rest of the house?
Yep.
I'm getting a phone call. Give me 1 second.
All right.
Wow.
Before you announce the results, I'm going to take advantage of the phone call to go top up my coffee.
Okay.
Unless you want to continue. The game doesn't hinge on me.
No, that's all right. What's besides going on? What's Fiffle or Fern or Otto doing?
I'm just assisting in the investigation.
Yeah. I'm just like
Yeah,
Just vibing.
Piffle like got his hands in his pockets, and it looks like he's like trying really hard to keep his hands.
Howdy, buddy.
Brendan
Fiffle.
Aurora is just looking around.
Are you looking at anything specific?
Anything specific?
Yeah.
I
I
was
guess
wondering how
Aurora's
much
kind of
those
like
bars
sniffing
were.
around for anything.
Aurora, have Aurora make a perception check. Okay, and is that a plus anything?
I think she gets plus three my proficiency bonus.
Oakley dokley. That works.
Any ability check or saving throw.
Okay. Aurora sniffs around, sniffs just kind of in the corners, sniffs the bed, jumps up in the bed, does 3 circles, and lays down.
Great investigation, Aurora. Just great job.
Look, she's not a police dog. She's a wolf.
She's not a narc dog. Did we have a long rest? Out of curiosity, or are we all at full health right now, or did we take damage?
Oh,
I think
you
we've
were
had
gone. Yeah,
2
we should
long
have.
rests.
We should have a full. We should have a. He should be full.
I should
Yeah.
be all right. I just fucked up. All right, great.
I don't know if you got.
No, you just missed it.
Yeah, that's right.
You may
Yeah,
have
we
gotten
took 2 long
hurt.
rests last week. Well, I got 1, but everyone else
That's
got
what we
2.
learned. Where the person doing the middle shift doesn't get a long rest.
Wait, what happened in the middle shift?
Apparently, if you do middle shift, you don't get a long rest. So
Basically-
nobody wants middle shift anymore.
You can do so during a long rest you could do a single shift, and that doesn't involve any like complex work. But if you do 2 shifts, then you don't get the benefit of long rest.
Oh, that's a fucking problem. So maybe only one person has to stay up on long rest now.
I mean, yeah, you could have just one person. Yeah, 'cause you could technically have 0 people,
No,
but
don't say anything crazy like that. My long rest button is not working. Oh, there it is. Wow, just took a while.
and
so-
yeah.
What did Aurora just do?
Aurora sniffed around the room, sniffed around
And
basically the table and chair. She sniffed around the travel equipment, and she sniffed around the bed before laying down in the bed itself.
Great. This is a great contribution from Aurora. Thank you so much. All right. Did we do a general investigation of this domicile?
Graham did, but I'm just waiting for Matt to come back with coffee.
I will do a separate one.
Okay, go do an investigation.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, kind of looking around, you see that the house itself was maintained pretty well. Everything was kept in good order. You noticed the bed was made before Aurora jumped on it.
Way to go.
I mean, Graham, also looking around, you notice like Aurora basically sniffed around where the victim had presumably spent a majority of their time, either at the travel equipment, the bed, or the table.
There's a strange glowing box in the corner. There's something on the screen that says 4chan. Cool. Graham's going to check out those areas himself.
Looking through them, they don't look to be anything out of the ordinary. Everything is very clean and neat. The chairs had been pushed into the table. The silverware had been placed away in a like small little container. The bed had been made. Looking around and through it, you don't see anything hidden or secured away. The only things that really had been locked were the actual chest and the front door. Find a few books that have been left on a nightstand. But the reading material looks to be mostly for entertainment rather than anything strictly important. In fact, you find a J.K. Klein novel. But
Does Hank try to steal it?
Yes, of course.
God, I wish I could read.
you do
Was that
catch
Hank or
you'd catch a
Kaido?
single like strap from Hank kind of reaching towards the book to grab it. You just see it slowly reach its way over to the book,
Hey.
place itself on it, and then slide it off. The book is in the middle of the pile, so like the top book falls and hits the ground, and you just see it go into the mouth.
Hank, don't we already have that book?
Maybe.
Poor.
Well, you can have two of the same. There's nothing that says you can't.
True. He's right.
Does anything else look squirrely? Anything else on the table from the book stack? The book that fell over itself?
The book that fell over itself is just looks to be a travel guide. Mostly covering this actual area, showing like various towns you expect to run across. Weather.
Like,
It's mostly like an
mountains?
almanac, really.
It's mostly like an almanac, you said?
Yeah, it's just like a small almanac
Gotcha.
telling about the area.
Does it look like there's any like notes or anything written?
Just things mentioning a travel. Like in the back has been just scrawled a small like bit of note where to travel from, what days to travel to avoid snowstorms. Mentions taking a carriage and how far you can go on a carriage, and then just a note mentioning doing the travel down to Vaxfall to bring in the taxes.
Huh?
No notes that you can see in the area. Although, Graham, with that 25, you do find a small, looks to be a small book underneath the pillow.
Ah. Graham will check the book under the pillow.
The book under the pillow looks to be a journal from the victim, Alf Dale.
All right, Graham will check it.
The journal itself is just day-to-day entries. Most of them look to be, wouldn't say official, although a lot of it does cover the job. Most of it talks about collecting the money from people in various towns. A lot of like complaints about taxes, and then definitely one of the more later entries talks about how Hugo Asen had avoided paying taxes for like a few weeks before finally giving up a small amount, claiming that's all he owed. A note to audit Hugo Asen, but then majority of it is basically just kind of glosses that over and talks about how he hopes to soon be on the road back to Vaxfall. Although he had heard traveling along the roads past Drindir is going to be more difficult.
That's so sad.
So that matches with what I thought about the money underneath the mattress or whatever.
Probable, Does any of the stuff indicate how he would do that audit? Like, what would be? I roll to understand Viderheim tax law.
Make a history check.
I will make a history check. Let me take off advantage.
Well, I know how auditing works because I used to do a bar. Could I assist him in this one?
Yeah.
Cool.
So run another. All right. Most of it would be interrogating people who utilized his services and seeing how much they paid him to get a rough timeline of how much he had been making over a set amount of period, as well as investigating any purchases he had made. So if he had made more purchases than he had actual profit, then he probably wouldn't have been able to actually make them. So a lot of it is just guesswork before eventually being able to secure a search for his home.
Okay.
And I assume he never got to that point.
That is correct. Nope. But yeah, the majority of it is really just. I mean, you do see a lot of entries about Hugo Assen, and one complaint from last year you see indicates that Assen had actually broken the windows of his house, and he had to get new ones. And because there's no actual window maker, he had to have them imported from another town.
All right.
Go away, dog.
Alright. Still a lot of not great for Mr. Probable Murderer here. Are there other floors? Is there a basement or an upstairs?
Nope, this is just in essence, it's a medieval equivalent of a studio apartment.
Gotcha. Because it's clean, we won't be able to tell if anything was moved around, so Graham is going to check behind everything he can move around.
There's not really a lot that you can see to, like, be... 1 second, my dog is being very... I'm going to go put my dog outside of the room. 1 second.
Just a gentle murdering.
There's a tax collector in the...
There we are. Okay, I just had to shut the door.
In real life. Did you table flip him?
No, I just put him out. I just locked him out of the room. I just shut the door. Anyway,
on a lark, what did the guy have for his own tax debt, and was it paid? I mean, if everything was trued up, it should be.
The Alfdale's tax.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because this is supposedly his primary residence, yeah?
Yeah, so he, in his own notes in the book, writes his taxable income as being paid by the state of Viderheim. Pays relatively well from what you can see. He would be making probably a few hundred gold a year. His taxable income is about 15 gold, so higher than a lot of people in town, but to be expected for most people. Just a small island town that subsides primarily on fishing.
Gotcha. In any of those entries about Hugo, does he talk about other townspeople, maybe people who sympathize with having to deal with him being a jerk? Anybody called out by name?
He does mention in the journal, yes, he often, like, either talks to people in town about Hugo. He mentions a number of times Hugo has either threatened him or has gotten drunk and tried to get in a fist fight. Mentions throughout town Hugo has done things like mostly stealing from people, vandalism, known for assault, disorderly conduct, and how Hugo, just by being very kind of acidic and violent, and the people in town not really wanting to get in a confrontation with him have mostly ignored him and, to an extent, shun him.
Okay.
But you get an idea he's kind of pissed off most people in town.
Yeah. So, according to my calculations, this guy's an asshole. Which is not a
Yes.
surprise.
Guy sounds like a dick.
Guess we can.
I mean,
You know, Honorable Kaido can render his verdict.
Listen. I'm not a judge, just an executioner.
Things you
Um,
definitely want to hear from an adventuring party of heavy armed
Right.
people.
Listen, did the guy deserve it? Yes. Was this right? Also, yeah. What was the question again?
Whether he actually killed the guy.
It points.
I don't
everything
know.
points to
I don't know. I mean, it points to it, but there is only like one mystery, in my opinion, unless I'm missing one that hasn't been solved, and that's the dried blood on the fucking knife.
There's another thought. When Graham was going through the ledger, was there anybody else marked to be audited?
You don't really see anything for people like marked to be audited. You see a few names that have been scratched out and have been filled in with no longer present.
Graham will make, or will have made, because I closed it all back up. I'll go back and do it. Open it back up if we have to. But
Okay.
Graham's going to make a list of the people who are listed as no longer present and true that up to the town population when we get the chance.
Okay.
Well, any of the people that I don't think it would have been in the audit. I wonder if any of them were his friends and decided to take action into their own hands.
Yeah, money's a very big motivator.
Uh,
I need to check out this body. I want to see this cause of death,
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's our next stop.
and then I will make the verdict on whether or not we have
medical
an execution
examiner
or not.
Kaido.
We're back.
Okay.
I need sunglasses to do that thing from
I also
CSI.
have
Don't worry,
Yeah.
guys. I know a
You need it
world
for
famous
anything.
heart surgeon.
I also have Zone of Truth if you need it for anything. If you decide.
Oh,
to
you
use it
have
well.
one?
I have a lot of Zone of Truths.
Fuck yeah, let's go. Okay.
I'll tell you how many I have. What the fuck is it? I have 3 of them. They're level 2.
Okay.
So if you need
Nice.
it, but I'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah, let's go.
Off to the
look
body
over
we
that
go.
our corpse.
Okay. The corpse was mentioned to be in a cold storage house. So
All right. Let's
Is
go report to Mr. Order of the Yard that we're doing that.
Is it
Okay.
a small space?
And Graham will also go over our findings of what we've seen so far.
okay. Yeah, you approach. Sir Thrum stands between the 2 cages, one containing Hugo and the other one containing your prisoner, Sithara. How goes the investigation so far?
Well, a lot of stuff that points to motive for our boy here, but there's enough weirdness afoot that I'm still not convinced. Graham will also tell him we did check the tax chest. I counted it and made sure everything went back. Everything.
Yes, we have another tax collector making their way up. They have to travel the long route past Sutton up to Talva, and then they can hopefully attempt to find their way up here, but might take a little while.
We did see our boy here was due for an audit, and I found some money squirreled away under his mattress.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does suggest the motive, but
I want to be like right up the bar, like in front of the bars, looking dead eye at this guy, just blank face.
Yeah, Sir Thrum just to Hugo. Well, it seems after you're found guilty of murder, you'll also be found guilty of tax evasion.
you know that's a hanging crime.
Hugo kind of goes up to the bars to you, Kaido. Hey, I'm innocent, man.
Yeah. Did you do it? Just be honest. Just between me and you. Did you do it?
Kinda
I
looks-
know. I just want to verify. Did you
Looks to the left, looks to the right, looks at you, and spits in your face.
Ah, yes. Thank you so much.
Fuck you.
All right,
I think
Val.
he did it.
Val, come on. I think he did it. Yeah, just look over to Graham. He definitely did it.
I think he killed him
definitely did
twice.
it. This guy is super guilty. This guy is absolutely super guilty.
All right, listen, feller. You don't have to like us, but if you didn't do it, we're the only people who are going to bail your ass out of that cell and off the gibbet. So, might be in your best interest to cooperate with us and maybe not spit in our faces, yeah?
Yeah, like you fucks will find anything. Bunch of fucking slack-jawed inbred yokels.
Found your money under your desk. So, if you're not going away for murder, you're going away for tax evasion.
Real good hiding spot.
Not his desk, his mattress.
I'm gonna study his face as I say this next sentence. We found your porn stash in the shed.
Make an insight check.
Oh, that's really
Unless
good
you
for me.
come clean with us, we're going to tell everybody what you're into.
You get a tough time reading his face. I think the look on his face you find is mostly confusion.
All right, I look at the team. And I'll say, guys, we have to go back to the shed.
We got to go plant the porn.
All right, no, that's what I'm putting into this conversation. That's it.
But Thrum mentions to you, if you'd like, I may cast the Zone of Truth upon the condemned here, if you wish to question him more in-depthly. Nothing you find through it will be used in the actual court case, but it can be used to further the investigation.
All right. Does Zone of Truth have a limited number of questions, or is it time-based?
No, it's 15 minutes time-based, and I can cast it multiple times a day.
Start accruing questions for asking him.
I'd like to be on the list of potential people who would get to execute him when the day comes.
Nope, it's only me. I have been authorized by the Order of the Yard to perform executions on behalf of the state.
Can I just stand next to you when you do it? I just
I
wanna
would
be there.
prefer you not do that.
Right.
I mean, how close do you intend to
really
stand?
hate this guy at this point. What?
How close do you intend to stand next to me?
Just to feel like I was a part of it.
I imagine this is a public execution. I would prefer you stay back further, but I suppose if you are near the front, you might be able to get a bit of blood splatter on you.
The splash zone. It's like a SeaWorld except for public execution. Everyone's like sitting there with ponchos. Yeah!
Okay, what I missed besides Rami wanting to execute somebody and
Yeah, this guy spit in my face, dude. At this point, even if he's innocent, I kind of want him dead.
He spit in your face.
Pick the wrong kind of quest to give us.
I picked the right kind of quest based on like how I wanted to see you guys operate.
Did you slap him?
We're
Did
gonna
you
burn this
sword?
fucking village down. No, there's only one bag. We're gonna burn it down. All right.
Thrum also chimes in. You all may wish to question some of the people who found the actual victim and Asen here.
Yeah. What are their names?
He goes through. Let's see here. We have a Front. It's an odd name. Let's see, a Grump and a Doll. Interesting. I've spoken to them previously. Certain folk on the island have more unique names. Older Viderheim names.
Do any of those names line up to people who were said that they're no longer on the island in the tax ledger?
Nope. No, they would all have been on the tax ledger and showed as paid up.
Okay. Do you know if the town has records of the population here? Names, residences? I want to. Graham will explain to the guy. I want to true up the tax ledger with the local population here.
He kind of laughs at you. No real records, but the population is going down. Anybody who can get off this island gets off the island.
Right. I did notice a couple of people in the tax book listed as no longer present, and I wanted to see if they might have a motive to hide their own shenanigans by pinning it on a very easy target.
I could certainly check. I mean, you have the ledger still with you?
No, I made sure everything was right back where we found it, but we could go retrieve it again if we gotta.
If need be. You have my full authorization to do an investigation, so as long as no money goes missing, you're legally clear to investigate.
Graham gives him a
like, man, Graham
that's-
really saved
That's a lot, but doesn't say
people there.
anything. Just very beleaguered. Okay. So we can question those. Do we want to do the zone of truth on the guy now, or come back with more pointed questions? Because I'm trying to gather questions for the guy, but I've only got 3 so far.
Check out the body, then questions.
Okay, yeah, let's go check the victim's corpse.
Right. He points to a house kind of down the way a bit. A small storage shed, primarily open to the winter, used to store mostly fish and salted meats. But we were able to make space for the body.
Okay, does anybody else have access to that place since the event?
It doesn't lock, so theoretically the entire town does, but
Okay.
I've had my eye on it since.
Let's take a look.
Okay.
By the way, I'm gonna. Well, no, I guess we could wait for the zone of truth for this. I was gonna try to Columbo one more thing, Hugo, but I can probably wait on that one.
All right.
So yeah, let's go check the cold storage.
Inside, you see. Well, you do see the body, as well as a little bit of food that has been kind of shoved against the walls, but inside, on the floor, in a section of ice and snow, rests the body of the man off Dale. He looks to be in his, you put him to his late 40s, early 50s. His hair is going a bit bald. He has a small, short beard. Clothes are in good shape. He is laying on his back currently, and you can see that his nose has suffered a small, amount of damage. It is blood coming out of it, and looks to be slightly broken. The rest of him from the front does not look to be in any real damage.
Are there any dried blood stains or blood on his clothes from lying in a pool of his own blood?
Yes. Yep, there are.
Okay. So I'm assuming the back of his clothing is super bloody then, because he was probably bled out after stabbing.
As you flip him over, you do see a small wound on his back, and a bunch of blood has pooled out of it. Looks to be like, from what you can determine, the knife was probably stabbed in, twisted, and then pulled out to create a larger wound. And
I'd like to... Oh, I'm sorry. Keep...
Oh, yeah, and that's really the only wound you see on the back, though.
I'd like to investigate closely to see if there's... So those are the only 2 wounds we looked at? So the nose and the back, right?
Uh-huh.
Can I do an investigation to make sure there's any other ones on his body, or was that our investigation we did just on?
You could... No, that's the preliminary look. You could do an investigation
yeah,
further
I'd
if you'd like.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. All right. Kaido, investigating the body, looking over, you don't see any wounds on the actual corpse beyond that. Looking at the actual skin itself, yes, you do see a kind of large opening from the back that has pierced through several inches and looks to have struck the heart, kind of nicking it and then pulling out. Looks like the blood then began to spill out rather aggressively. But there are no wounds, no bruises that you can see, no defensive wounds, nothing of that nature.
Does that puncture wound in the back look like a 4 to 6 inch?
You would suspect it does, yeah.
It does. Okay, so it matches up with the knife that we had found.
Yeah, my thought is, if there is any foul play here, this was the murder weapon. It was just done earlier, and he was either moved or they, quote unquote, discovered him.
Okay. One last check, I guess, just to settle my mind here, is I would like to see if there's any magical.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
like I don't know, some lesions on the skin that indicate magical, or I don't know, magical residue. No, it's like 2 weeks ago. It would have
Roll for magical forensics.
Yeah,
I'll
magical
assist you
forensics.
on
Essentially.
this.
I don't know what that would.
It's
I was
probably
gonna say,
Arcana.
I don't know if I
think
should just
Otto
pop
has
a
detect
fucking
magic, right?
I think it's Arcana what you're looking for, and I'll assist.
I could do a detect magic. I could, but I actually really wanted to keep it for the interrogation because he started dwindling in mental stability throughout the years, and I'm wondering if it was like a magical source that had done it, or just life.
Syphilis.
Yeah. So I didn't want to pop my detect magic right now. Can I do just
Do it
a
for now.
preliminary Arcana check with Otto's help?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go ahead and do that.
Okay. I mean, looking over the body, you don't see any magical aura or anything that would be like magic on the body itself. If magic was used, because it was like a while ago, it'd be difficult to tell precisely.
Gotcha. Okay.
If you'd like further information about the body, you would need to make either a nature or a medicine roll.
Ooh, nature or medicine? I would.
I can help with nature.
I was gonna say, please do.
Yeah. If you think I can't assist her, I'm not proficient in it. I'm just gonna. Could I
Nature and
point
medicine.
it out to Fern and have Fern do it?
I'll D for her.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Hey Fern, I'll point out. I'll say, can you just look into this? I just need a different set of eyes to look at it. Maybe more from a natural perspective rather than arcane.
That's a very corporate way to put it.
Sure, let me take
I want to make
look.
sure we're aligned on this.
I can't. I know it's Sunday. It hasn't turned off yet. God damn it!
Something's weird, but you're not able to quite put your finger on it.
Okay.
Like, something definitely doesn't match up with what you were told occurred and what the body is showing you. But for the life of you, Fern, it's like back of your head, and you just can't quite put the thought together.
Can I do a medicine check on his body then?
Yeah.
Make sure I click.
Natural 20.
Otto, the body is dead.
Yeah. It's okay. If Teagle was here, he would have put the body back together.
Graham is gonna try something on a lark. I'm going to cast Dispel Magic on the corpse.
Great. Graham casts Dispel Magic on the corpse, but does not see any change.
Okay. So there's no magically hiding what's happening with some kind of transformation that's otherwise permanent, I don't think. How about a religion check in the same vein as the Arcana?
Okay. Go ahead.
Eh.
Looking at body over, you don't see anything that would lead you to knowledge that could help with, like, that the religious knowledge could help with, either via just generic religious information or clerical spells.
Okay.
All right.
Nothing on that front.
Do we think we're gonna? Go ahead.
The one big concern I have is a single felling blow to the heart strikes me as some, like, the Tanner shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think a drunken asshole from a fishing village has that kind of
this is like
precision or the kind of restraint to not multi-stab the fucker.
This is like an assassination, yeah.
So, that's another question we can ask him under Zone of Truth. How many times did you stab him?
Are we gonna go talk to the accuser in the next 10 minutes? Like, are we done almost questioning this person? Because I will pop a detect magic if we're gonna also go up and.
Let's do that on our way out.
Okay, that's
I
what I'm
can
saying.
also
Alright.
use my Speak with Dead, but I definitely want help coming up with the questions.
You have 3 or 4 now.
I think you could ask. I think you could ask 5 questions for
Yeah, I
this.
think it's just always 5. Ba-da-ba-ba.
But you wrote down a few, right?
I can do that for free once a day.
Yep. And the body did have a Speak of Dead on it, but you were told it was done more than 10 days ago.
Okay. That's helpful. Up to 5 questions.
I had to step away at some point when we got to the body, but did we look at the back where the wound he was stabbed?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it looks like
matches with the
it was a
knife.
single strike and then a twist to widen the wound, and it nicked his heart, and then he bled out.
One
Does
hit.
like the back at all look like maybe the blade was coated with poison?
Make a medicine or nature check.
Either.
Either, whichever you would prefer. Medicine. Looking at the wound itself, you do not see any poison being used. It looks like just a single stab that caused near immediate death. You do know that looking at it, the pooling is a bit weird of the way the blood pooled, and also the back wound itself is it's strange in that it doesn't look like the person flinched away from being stabbed in the back. Pooling from the blood, while there was a lot of blood and it spilled out from the body, looks to be from what you would suspect to be a laying down position.
The
He
pooling
might have been
looked
stabbed
weird.
in his bed.
He didn't. It looked like he didn't flinch from it.
Yeah, Graham's
he
gonna
was-
check around his mouth to see if maybe if he was at the tavern or something, he had a poison to drink, or was drugged.
Okay, take a look.
Graham will.
This would be a
investigate.
medicine, or I'd say this would be either a medicine check rather than a investigation.
I can do an untrained medicine. Can I share my hunch with the team and get help from the professionals?
Yeah, I'm not good at medicine, so
I have a good modifier. I'm just not trained in it.
I'm not trained,
I'm
and
not
I have a
trained in
bad
it either.
modifier.
I'll D4 you though, or unless
Fern, are
Ian
your medicine?
will let me assist you based off of my.
I mean, you've been investigating the body a lot, so I would say yes, you could get advantage on it with somebody's help and the guidance as well.
I'm also going to argue that Graham has probably seen a lot of corpses in his time.
And you can add in that guy. Wow. All right, 25. Looking at the mouth, you slight stench of beer. You don't notice any sort of indication of poison, although looking at the nose and the amount of blood, you think his nose might have been broken pre-mortem.
His nose was broken pre-mortem. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
was he in
didn't
a fight
fall
before
and
this?
break his nose. That also aligns well with him, like the blood pool suggesting he was on his back. So like he was probably lying down instead of stabbed and then fell forward.
So maybe he got punched. He fell back on a blade, and it perfectly just went in there, twisted, and he died. And they tried to set it up. Just a bad luck. You know what? This guy's guilty. Anyway, well, you heard the good news. I'll go upstairs and tell him the good news.
We, the jury, find the defendant of being a dick.
Yeah.
Graham will relay all that and add that to the notes. And
Imagine if this was like some sick
Uh,
fucking.
we will have to ask the
accident.
witnesses if there was like an altercation before he was found dead.
Okay. And you also have your speak with dead if you would like to.
I do. I will ask him about that as well.
Okay.
Let's see.
Can I add my question of this too? Should we just have him guilty so he can just be gone?
I know, but my sword wouldn't like it very much.
Also, it would technically break Otto's oath.
He is sworn to uphold the law. Boy, are you in the wrong party for that. Mike.
I knew that as soon as I saw the oaths and I saw who I was playing with. Okay,
So let's.
but I accepted my faith, my fate.
Hold a grudge. All right, so I've got 2 questions so far. We can ask 5. Let me brainstorm with you guys. Graham is going to huddle everybody ahead of the speak with dead. Questions so far: how did you break your nose? Did anyone other than Hugo hold a grudge against you? and we got 3 more.
Okay, I like those two. Should we go with the? Well,
The
no.
missing
They
people on the
said.
audit list.
What were the questions that they asked previously last week? I'm sure they asked the who killed you, right? I'm assuming that was.
Well, we know he didn't see who killed him. He was attacked from behind.
What other questions can we ask him? Let's see.
Where else might somebody be lying down where their back would be? Like, is there like a doctor or a massage parlor or some shit on this island? I'm guessing no.
No.
Yeah.
A whorehouse. You think I'm kidding, but
No, I mean it's valid. It's worth inquiring, but I'm guessing probably not.
No, this is primarily residential with a few businesses around. There isn't even a smith on the island.
I mean, people work from home.
It's a hybrid.
Yeah, I was about to make the exact same fucking joke. We got jokes, everybody.
While you suspect that there may have been some measure of prostitution done on the island, you don't expect it to be a primary source of income.
Just a way to lower your taxes.
So that's a third question. Where were you drinking beer? Because that'll help us narrow down. If there's still traces of it on his lips, he was probably murdered right after or during drinking. So that'll help us narrow down like an actual murder site if he was moved.
Who was present while you were drinking? And
I
that
guess
he should be able to give you the names of the witnesses.
Who were you drinking with that night? Yeah.
It's probably too open-ended to ask him like what happened on your night before the slaying, but
You could try.
Here's a kind of question.
Oh.
Who was she?
Yeah.
what happened? I mean, that's a little open-ended, but it's the broad strokes. All right. Does anybody have any better ideas then? 5 questions. Did anyone other than Hugo hold a grudge against you? How did you break your nose? Where were you drinking beer? Who was there when you were drinking? And what happened to the day you died?
Yep.
I might need to rephrase that one. It's a little open-ended, but...
Yep. Let's try it.
Yeah, okay.
Go through your
Grandma.
last 30
That's
seconds of your
dead.
life. Go through the last 30 seconds before you died.
I think that'll be the least helpful info because that was what they focused on the first time they cast Speak with Dead.
Oh, is that? Okay, I couldn't remember that question.
All right. So you cast Speak with Dead?
Yes.
All right. As you do the various... Actually, is it verbal? I'm sure it has like all... Yeah, verbal and somatic. So as you speak the words and you kind of twist your hands around, the corpse, you can see the magic enter in the body. The corpse regards you lifelessly, and it waits for your questions.
Okay.
Heroes waiting for... And that's it for this week, everybody.
Okay, that's all, folks.
Graham will ask first. Did anybody other than Hugo... What was Hugo's last name? I'm looking at my
Asen?
notes. So, Asen, right?
Yep.
Did anybody other than Hugo Asen hold a grudge against you?
No, only Hugo.
How did you break your nose?
I don't remember. I don't know.
Sorry, what was the second part?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't remember, I don't know. Okay. Where were you drinking beer?
In the public house with my friends.
In the public house?
Yep.
Okay.
With my friends.
Who was there in the public house?
Half the town. I was drinking with Doll.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, you're
Sorry. He said he was drinking... half the town was there. He was drinking with his friend Doll.
Doll?
Drinking with his friend Doll. And half the town was
Who you would remember as being one of the witnesses
Yep.
who found the body.
Yeah, I've got his name written down as one of the witnesses. Half the town was there. drinking with his best friend Doll. What happened the day you died?
I'm not going to use the voice changer, as I guess it's a little hard to hear, but
The Discord, or not Discord, Zoom's algorithm's like muted.
Oh, that's annoying.
Partially, anyway.
All right. What happened the night you died?
Yeah.
In a fight with Hugo, he had been drinking, threatened to thump me, left the public house, wanted to go back to my cottage. I don't remember the rest.
Okay, so in a fight with Hugo, who had been drinking, threatened to bump me in the public house, wanted me to go back to my cottage. I don't remember the rest, correct?
Yep, he technically said thump him, but yeah.
Thump, not bump.
Yep.
All right. So
You had one more question?
no, I think that was 5.
I think that was fine.
1, 2, 3,
Okay.
4, 5. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So I'll copy paste those into Roll20 for everybody else.
With that, the bodies... I don't remember. Yep. With that, the body magic flows out of the body and it returns to its lifeless state.
Graham will say a small prayer to Eidos over the body, and then stand up and dust off his knees. I think we're done here.
Yeah. Do we want to go question the
Doll.
doll, or do we want to go talk to our friendly neighborhood Hugo upstairs?
I think maybe we want to question the townspeople because we
Okay.
can compare. Like, he'll be under a zone of truth. He won't be able to lie, and we'll know if he makes the save or not. I think that's in the spell description.
Yep.
So we'll know if he's telling us an ironclad truth, even if he's trying to be evasive. Whereas we can find a contradiction with the townspeople, and that'll let us ask leading questions that
Okay.
will lead to better answers, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay. So you're going to talk to the townsfolk?
Yeah. Do we want to do that next time, or do we want to do it now?
I'm good for either, whatever you guys prefer. You seem like you're on a roll.
My assumption is that once he left the bar, he got ambushed by this guy. That's how the broken nose happened, because he wouldn't remember that because he died not long after.
And then his best friend killed him.
I mean, Graham, you would know that the corpse would know anything up to the point of death
Okay.
that happened to it.
Yeah, it would know unless there was some reason it didn't. Like maybe he was drugged, maybe he was magically compelled.
Maybe his nose was broken after he died.
No, it said pre-mortem.
Oh, the premortem. Okay, I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah, one of the stories we heard is that he fell on his nose, but we found with our medicine checks that his nose was probably broken pre-mortem. All right.
I think the real solution is just set the whole town on fire and leave.
I agree. And Doug will be the tinder that we will start this.
What'll happen is if all of this turns out to be a Shaggy Dog story and the guy did do it, that's what's going to happen in the town. Kaido just yelling at Ian, the god of the setting. Look what you did! Who did this?
Oh shit!
All right, let's go. I guess
Kaido will render his judgment
Before-
upon this town.
Before we leave, I'm gonna pop that detect magic.
You do not see any magic on the corpse or in the surrounding area.
Okay. And since it's good for 10 minutes, will we be passing by Hugo's cell as we are on our way to go see the townfolk?
We can.
For you, yes.
I would,
not
I would
far
like
off,
to.
it's
I
just
would like to.
not
I would like to walk by Hugo, and just use the eyes of detect magic to make sure there's not. To make sure he's an authentic asshole.
Artisanal blend.
Yeah.
Second. I gotta check something.
Got to check if the spell that he was under leaves a residue.
Well, I'm just verifying some information.
I'm not literally asking you to.
Well, I
tell
mean,
us
that's
if you-
quite what I'm... Yeah, I'm just checking a look.
I'm just. being
No.
an asshole,
Yeah,
guys.
no. It's more like I'm checking a look to see if like something like Zone of Truth would leave a magic, but yeah, you Kaido, as you go closer to Hugo Asen, you do not see any magical residue upon him.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's just an authentic asshole, guys. All right. On our way to go see and talk to Dole. We'll be back for you, Hugo.
You get a little closer, I didn't hear ya.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You fucking disgusting. Oh God. I think he's guilty. Let's just go ahead and put our tickets in. This guy just, makes.
Is there like a fancy Latin term for "fuck this"
Yeah.
in legal proceedings?
I think there is, but I, for the life of me, can't remember what it is.
So, I guess, yeah, let's go look for our caballeros, starting with Mr. Dahl. I'm sorry.
Dole, yeah.
It's Dal, so like DAL.
DAL.
Yeah, Dal.
Yeah, it's like from Borderlands, except without the H.
I did notice a Bront, and I hope he takes care of huskies, like the full sleds. They're good dogs, Bront.
I pulled names out of my butt, and that's what I had.
Do you want to use bad cop, worstest cop, or do you guys want to just go with the good cop?
I really don't.
Thrum tells you, Doll's inside the public house, Bront's on the ice, doing fishing. I don't know where the third witness is.
I wanted to check out the public house anyway. So before we go in, let's start questioning there. But before we go in, let's look around the outside and keep our eyes open on the inside.
Sure. You got the basic overview of the public house, but it is the largest building in town, situated more to the north, with the kind of small field behind it, not too big, as it reaches the very tip of the island shortly after that. The public house itself is about 2 stories large, and it is a combination of an inn, a tavern, and just a public forum for where the people meet and do any necessary bureaucracy for the town, what little there is.
Mix fits. I'm from a town like this in character. I guess kind of out of character, except Burlington has fuck you money.
It's got some stuff, yeah, but Graham, this would be very similar to a place you have been. It's just, I imagine you weren't trapped on an island that was artificially limited by the size of the island it was on.
Yeah, and also, however, coming from one of those small towns, that's why Graham is extra sus. He knows what these towns are like.
Something's up here, yeah.
Now listen, guys, I've been part of enough extra legal killings to know that something's not...
Something doesn't add up.
Just imagine if Graham just dropped that one day in the middle of a conversation, just went back to normal like he didn't say anything. It's like, what? All right, let's. Graham is gonna investigate the outside of the public house.
Okay, roll investigation check, please.
With advantage, because I'm assuming I'm getting help.
Yes.
All right. The public house itself is relatively good shape. It is actually made of wood with a stone foundation. It has actual tile, excuse me, for the roof. No glass on the actual windows, but they do appear to be wooden shutters that have been locked shut. There is an actual stone chimney coming out from the top of the house itself. Most of the houses don't have a nice chimney of that nature.
Huh? Do any of the windows look like maybe there was some scrabbling or damage on the wood? Like either the sill or on the shutters themselves?
You did a full, around the entire outline of the house, the public house?
Yeah.
Yep. You would notice on the back of the back window, it looks like there is some slight damage to one of the wooden shutters on the underside of it. That looks like it has been possibly pried up a little bit, enough to make a small hole where somebody can actually see through it. This would be on the north side. The southern side of the public house would be facing the main square of the town itself.
I'm gonna guess there's no like footprints or anything because it's been 2 weeks.
You don't see any footprints, no.
Okay. Any signs of dried blood or anything, any other effluvia on the side of the inn, on the window, on the shutter?
No, on that northern side, you don't see any dried blood unless you were to look further north to the area that Sir Thrum had marked off, which is about like 30 to 40 feet away from the public house itself.
Oh yeah, we still haven't checked the crime scene, have we?
You did, yeah.
Yeah, we
you
did.
you uncovered like the frozen blood and the boot prints.
Right. Sorry, a lot of moving parts on this. I've actually got some pretty good notes on the what we've gathered so far.
Trust me, Ian has read billions of murder mysteries. Billions.
So this isn't a simple murder.
Well, there's a mystery and a murder.
Okay. The actual tile roof, does it look like the same tiles as on the guy's house? On Hugo's house?
Yeah, it looks like whatever tile maker had supplied them to both the public house and to the shed.
Okay. Mix fits. I guess we can go inside now.
Okay.
Okay.
Inside the public house, you see a few people kind of milling about, a couple people having drinks. At the end of the public house, it'd be on the west side, you would see a small bar as well as what looks to be a makeshift stage, and a couple chairs around it. At the bar itself, you see a man in an apron who is pouring a couple drinks to the people at the bar.
Can Graham do a low-key? I guess it wouldn't be investigate if he's just looking quickly. I guess a perception?
Yep.
Just to look around the place?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Damn it.
It's a combination bar, inn, tavern, and public forum.
I'm at the combination tavern and public forum.
I'm at the tavern. I'm at the forum. I'm at the combination tavern forum.
Tavern and forum. I guess it makes sense that I wouldn't be able to see much off the jump anyway.
And you also see, tables and chairs around the tables in this area.
Okay. Do any of the chairs or tables look newer? Any particular damage or battering? Any stains that are questionable?
Not that you can see. Most of the chairs and furniture look to be old and a bit worn, but relatively good shape.
Any missing... does it look like there was a table someplace that got removed?
Make an investigation check.
Eh.
All right. Looking around, you see a couple of the chairs do have some damage to them. One chair has damage on the actual back, where your back would rest. It looks like maybe it had tipped over and had struck the ground there.
Okay. That's not out of character for a public house. They wouldn't replace a chair if they didn't have to. But the chair has damage as if it fell over backwards.
And nothing appears to be missing in any way, shape, or form, however.
Okay. Could be... Well, no, he was stabbed in the back, unless some real fuckery was afoot. Okay. I was thinking maybe if the victim was in that chair and it fell backwards, somebody could have then jumped on and knifed him, but he would have to be facing backward on that.
Yep.
Maybe he sits backwards on his chair like a fucking animal. Okay. I guess off the jump, that's everything I can think of. We can actually start questioning people now.
Dal? Al.
Yeah, I think Dal was the one in the public house, right?
Yep. Do you call out his name?
Yeah. Graham will be like, excuse me, I'm looking for a Mr. Dal.
Bartender. That's me. I'm your
Afternoon.
bartender, innkeeper, and mayor of this small town. How can I help you?
Well, we're doing some last inquiries before some last rites, if you follow me, on Mr. Hugo out there.
About time, poor bastard. Getting what he deserves, finally.
More bastard than
I
Portland.
agree.
I understand.
Fucking Kyle.
Well,
I agree.
could you tell us about the night it all went down? The last time the victim was seen alive?
Yeah. So, let's see. I was here with Ulf. We get along well enough. Uh, he was chatting with me. I was serving him some drinks. He's getting ready to head down south, try and get close to Vaxfall. Uh, Old Hugo there had been sitting at his table drinking. Um, had quite a few drinks that night. He still actually needs to bring back a bunch of the glass bottles he took from here.
I
But-
reckon he won't get the chance, but somebody will.
Well, we'll go pop open the house and get back anything he had taken from us. I'm sure there's probably a decent amount in there.
Probably not wrong.
But simmering over the last few weeks, old Hugo had been accusing Ulf there of taking his more money than he shoulda, saying he'd been pocketing the rest, accusing him of all sorts of crazy shit. That night comes to a head. He says he's gonna thump him, pulls out that little like wooden mallet he always got, slams it, gonna tell him he's gonna bash his skull in. People kind of separate between the two.
Is that what he
Ulf-
said? He said thump him?
Yeah, he always says he's gonna thump people. He's gonna thump me. He's gonna thump you. He's gonna thump your dog. He's gonna thump your daughter. He's gonna. Yeah. That
Take
one.
my daughter out of this, damn it.
Yeah. Then he does his like that little weasel laugh he always does after he says that. He's always walking around that stupid mallet of his. But anyway, Hugo gets pushed back against the wall. People stand between him, keep any fight from happening. Ulf leaves. He's going to head back down to the cabin. It's to the southwest of here. Yep, southwest of here. And then Hugo manages to kind of break through, and a few moments later heads out after him. We don't hear any commotion, so nobody goes out, but after a bit, some people start getting worried because Hugo doesn't come back after an hour or two. So a couple of us look around town square, don't see anything. No one's at Hugo's house, no one's at Ulf's house, so we look to the north after a full look over the island and find him in the that field up by the north of the tavern here. Hugo sitting by the body, knife in hand. Been dead a little while, from what we could tell, based on how cold the body was.
And what was Hugo saying when you arrived?
He's just kind of sitting there in stunned silence. So we grab him, stuff him in a cage, and get word out to the old count there. Get somebody to come down for the order of the yard. They wanted to string him up right here and then, but I got to follow the law, so I told him, nope, this is order of the yard business.
Good on you. Can I insight his testimony as he's giving it?
Yeah, go ahead. Roll an insight check.
Right, Ace Attorney shit. God damn it.
He seems pretty on the level. I mean, I'm also giving Graham a lower DC because he is like from small town like this, so it does fit his
He's from
backstory
Murderville.
well. I like the fact that Graham does fit the this area, so that's why I'm giving you a bit of a boost in this regard. But he seems to be on the level. Everything he's explaining, pretty truthful
Seems to
as
line
far as
up,
you can
yeah.
tell.
Now, what can you tell me about that mallet there? Did he have that on him?
Yeah, Dom. We had to pull it off his belt, make sure he didn't thump anyone, as we put it, and then we stuffed him in that cage. It kept it by fire, so he wouldn't, freeze to death or anything.
So let me get something straight. This guy that runs around with a blunt mallet weapon, and he's just known to always have this mallet, somehow manages to kill somebody with a perfect one-strike hit with a knife, a weapon that he doesn't usually use.
Well, it's his knife. It's one of them, shipping knives.
Oh,
We see it with him all the
Question.
time.
Hugo being a bastard, he's gotten into a couple of tumbles in here, I'm sure. Had a couple drinks, gotten into a fight.
Yeah.
Speaking as somebody who's gotten into a couple of tavern brawls himself, was he more of a haymaker kind of guy or a kind of guy?
He's a sucker punch kind of guy,
Ah, okay.
but mostly fists. He always claims he's going to hit you with the mallet, and he pulls it out and he'll smack like a wall or a table or something, but I don't know if I've ever seen him use it on anyone.
And
I feel like this fight is a distraction.
Yeah,
might be.
something's off.
Real
I mean, I hate
assassinate.
the fucking guy, and I want him to be guilty. But somebody who always goes around saying he's gonna thump people and then goes ahead and just stabs them.
with a
He's a
very
real
precise
assassin
knife
waiting
stab
for cover
while super
before
drunk,
the fight.
and then just kind of sits there.
Something's off.
Anyway.
God, I hate this.
Hey, that's
guy.
what Thrum's been saying, but
We may have even used some magic to make the guy do the deed, but
I did a lot of detect magic stuff. I mean, I figured maybe I'd see some residue on him, but it might be what 2 weeks since this has happened. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Can you show me any place in here where he banged that hammer?
points to the table, and you actually see the table where the chair had fallen over, and you do see a number of, like, now that he's been pointed out, you do see a number of thumps on the actual table itself from where a hammer had struck, probably over the course of several months, if not years, of just
Being a
having it
dickhead.
struck repeatedly.
Graham is going to investigate more closely that table and chair while he asks. Damn it!
You can roll advantage if someone's helping you.
yeah, I'm gonna help you out with that.
Thank you. Much better.
Looking at the table, you actually do notice that it is actually by the northern edge of the tavern, somewhat closer to the kind of slightly damaged window.
So, that chair there, I noticed a little damage just now.
Yeah,
Was that in the altercation? Did somebody maybe stand up or take a tumble?
yeah. Hugo kicked it over. When he was accusing Dahl of all those crazy shit, robbing him, slammed the damn hammer on the table, kicked the chair over. I ain't made of chairs.
Does like physical positioning wise,
Insight
does it look like
check.
the hammer blow, like the mallet marks, are where he would have been in a position to kick over the chair, or was he like on the same side or something?
No, he's in the chair. He stands up real quick and kicks it over, and he slams with the hammer.
Okay. That seems to
Inside
line
check.
up with what I can piece together from the mallet marks and all that.
Yeah, and the mallet marks look like they kind of struck at a bit of an angle. Like the flat of the mallet didn't hit the table exactly. It was like kind of twisted as his like hand was going up and down, with the wrist not being held straight.
Okay. Something. So he was real drunk, you said?
Probably had 8 beers that night.
Alright.
And he was good for the money, I assume?
So
feel
he's-
I wouldn't
Eventually.
serve him for free out of the kindness of your heart after all the things he put you through.
He'll pay up eventually. He had just managed to settle his tab, so I always figure I'd get him a few more. I'd limit him to a certain number of drinks a night, but I mean, last time that happened, I had a bunch of windows busted in.
I was curious about that. He vandalized this place before, any?
Yeah,
What kind
I'd
of
love
things,
to-
like hitting the siding, maybe breaking a window?
breaking windows, smashing. He's broken a couple chairs. Actually, if you note, I had to pull a chair from each table, or from one table, just because he had broken so many of them, get them replaced as best I can. But that was a couple years ago. I told him I'd cut him off completely if he kept that bullshit up. But I'd love to run him off the island if I could, but he owns the boating business. And his dad owned the boating business for him, and his dad owned the boating business for him. I tell you, I wish I miss the old man.
Oh, yeah?
Kept a clean ship, so to speak. Didn't cause no trouble. I had no idea how Hugo turned out this way. Little prick's been like this since I known him.
Bad seed, huh?
I don't know how, just turned out bad. Well, I guess he's gonna get his comeuppance. Best thing that happened to this town in 10 years.
What? When did he start going bad? You said. When did his father die?
His father died like 4 or 5 years ago. He's been a prick ever, like, He's been a prick his entire life. I swear to God, the kid was a prick as a baby.
Oh, it wasn't after his father died where he started spiraling. He was just always a dick.
Did he get worse?
Yeah, got a little worse, I suppose. Oh, he was a little bastard. He was playing pranks, picking on kids. So, I gotta tell you, we had to keep him away from that wizard that one time because we were sure he would.
I fucking hate wizards.
A
It's
wizard, huh?
Oh yeah, like 10 years back, wizard passed through town, just going around doing some interest. I don't know, probably traveling from Talva up to Kirog or Elsie or so, maybe farther up. You don't get many wizards up here, but he stopped by on a boat he was traveling in. Stayed here like 3 or 4 days. This is before even I was voted into office. I was helping my dad run the bar.
And the wizard and Hugo did not get along.
Well, no, we kept them apart.
What's the story there?
Nothing. We knew the wizard would kill him.
Did he do anything, or did he just not get the chance?
They didn't get the chance. Basically, we got some guys who, went we draw straws. Whoever got the short straw had to go drinking with Hugo. And we basically kept them apart best we could. My job actually was to... Oh, it was me and what was the other kid's name? Anyway, our job was to go around and keep him... keep the wizard entertained.
Always a good idea.
Why were we so nervous about what Hugo would do to the wizard? Why?
Or vice
I guess-
versa.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know wizards, but those little shits love Fireball. And let me tell you, this whole fucking town's made of wood and ain't big.
Yes,
we
yes,
know
they
a wizard that
do.
likes a fireball.
I miss
I-
our wizard.
Show of hands here, who has not been fireballed by Lucian?
No, I died from a fireball. But
I think I wasn't, but I think I was just out of range of it. But his intent was there.
Now-
Intent to fireball. Well, you're
yes.
not wrong.
Yeah, anyway, we kept the wizard apart. Heck,
Okay.
Ingar even got the, that's the kid's name, Ingar Bar. He left with the wizard.
Oh,
Why does
really?
that name seem familiar?
Do I know that name? Do I recognize it from the ledgers or from prior shenanigans?
You would have seen it on the list, Ingar Bar, going back a few years.
What is he marked as for this year and prior years?
He is not on the ledger itself.
He
Gotcha.
left with the wizard, huh?
Yeah, just making sure that trues up.
Well, I think the wizard left, and then he left like a couple weeks later. Because he was... Oh, that's right. Wizard wrote him a letter of recommendation to go to Starwell, learn some magic. He had the talent.
Interesting. And,
But that was 10 years ago, so...
yeah. How about our victim here? What can you tell us about him and his night?
Oh, he takes our money, but I guess he's a nice enough sort. I guess he's just doing his job, but people on the island, for what he does, they like him. Quiet, polite, keeps to himself mostly. He comes in here, drinks a couple, one or two a night maybe. You think he had just managed to have only one beer by the time old Hugo caused him some trouble. But he was going to be heading down to Vaxfall in like a week or two. So he actually would have been heading down now if he got what he wanted, but...
Yeah.
I mean,
You know
no
what I
real
can't-
problem with anybody but Hugo on the island. Everybody really either didn't mind him or liked him.
Yeah. Interesting that.
You know what I can't get over is the handwriting difference. Like he seemed like he dwindled in his mental state, and I wonder if it was something to do. It could just be a factor of him like losing his father, but I feel like the wizard has a role to play now, or I don't know. Maybe not.
You just hate wizards so much that you're blaming the wizard for this.
Yeah, I fucking hate wizards. I gotta be honest with you.
Shit, I was
One
about to
bad
ask
wizard.
something.
Except our cat wizard, I miss him.
You're gonna pet him the wrong way when he gets back.
Yeah,
He set you on fire with a fireball.
I know, but sometimes on cold nights, I remember that fireball. Warm.
I have questions that I don't need answered.
Kaido can make anything into a good thing.
Look, I have a book that he wants. He's gonna have to come back at some point.
Did either of them? I mean, aside from the drunken belligerents, were either of them seeming kind of off?
I don't know why they went up to the north side of the place. There's nothing there. But, I mean, it seemed alright when they left.
Yeah, and when they left, they left out the south side door towards back into town, yeah?
Yeah.
What about the broken nose he had?
Did you see that
I
fight?
assume when he got struck from behind, he fell on his face and broke his nose.
So that would explain that.
When's the last time Hugo got into a brawl with anyone prior to the murder?
A couple nights ago.
Who was that with?
Bront.
Bront, huh?
Look, Hugo's a little bastard, alright? But he tends to know what he can and can't get away with. And as much as we hate the bastard, it's not like we got too many other people on this island here, so he gets... I'm sure in the city, you probably would drag his body up from, like, a sewer or something.
So you're saying, like, you know him better than we know him. You're saying even though he's a bastard and you haven't liked him and you think he's been a dick, you just don't think he's capable of this.
Well, he's never killed anyone before, but maybe it's going to happen eventually. Who knows? He gets in fights with people. I mean, it's probably only a matter of time before he, stabs somebody. But
More like thumps someone, though, wouldn't you say?
Well, I'd say probably would have hit somebody with the mallet and killed him that way rather than the knife. But I mean, it's his knife. It's used on boating.
Yep.
Where's that mallet now? Out of curiosity.
It's with Rum.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, so there's nothing up north, but that's where both the victim and the killer were.
Yeah. Just a small
did
field.
Did see which way they went when they left?
They went out the door to the south, and I figured they'd head further south. But, nope. Door closed. We make sure the door gets closed. Hugo left it open, so we just shut it real quick because of the cold. But as far as I'm aware, they were heading down to the south.
I like how nobody's surprised that Hugo left the door open.
Oh, yeah, no. Absolute prick is right. All right. Trying to think of some other angles.
I feel like Kaido's going to get his execution of this guy like he wants.
God, I hate him, but at the same time, something just doesn't add up.
Look,
Here's
Hugo's
a question.
Yeah, what's up?
There been anything weird going on in town aside from Hugo being a dick? Like anything unusual, things going missing that didn't necessarily line up to him? Vandalism, hearing noises?
I mean, no vandalism or anything. As far as I'm aware, everything's on the level. At least as far as I know. Nobody complained to me. And if I'm the mayor, I'm the first they complain to.
Well, I noticed, I took a little walkabout toward the killer side, and I noticed somebody pried up one of the shutters, maybe to get a peephole.
Bastards. Well, that's certainly odd, but...
Can I insight him on his face as he's hearing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as you're aware, it's a surprise to him. He does not appear to know of its origin. He more looks annoyed that he has another repair he's got to pay for.
Yeah, Graham will very helpfully switch back to Southern good old boy mode away from Benoit Blanc mode and just point out which shutter it was. And while he's going over to walk over to it, he's going to kind of size up the line of vision from the other side of the peephole.
The peephole would overlook primarily Hugo's hiding spot as well, or the spot where Hugo typically would sit.
The corner he would lurk in.
Yeah. While simultaneously having good sightline to the bar itself and the southern door.
Good sightline to Hugo's area, the bar, and the. Okay, that's helpful. Thank you kindly. And
I kind of got to run in a moment.
Oh yeah. Well, we could call it soon. I've actually been playing
yeah,
a lot
we
longer.
got through one witness. Let me just save my notes because this is a lot of info. And if you guys want, I can.
Yes. This
Hugo is a dick. Dot text.
TLDR, Hugo Dick, most likely kill.
Hugo was not a boss.
All right. So we'll call it here, and we'll pick this up next week.
Rightio.
Bye bye.